my stomach, so if Father will just take it over, okay, where we stand. Since you're the vice chair. Herminio, would you do roll call for us, please?
This is the regular meeting for Central County Water Control District. Mr. Bennett?
Here.
Mr. Bennett?
I wasn't sure if it said.
Chair Mata?
Here.
Ms. Denise?
Here.
Luis Napoles?
President Colorful.
Attorney is in the bottom.
Thank you for letting everybody know. He had to share with everybody.
Mr. Bennett, engineer?
Here.
Accountant?
Here.
And myself.
All right, thank you. Moving on, number 2, approval of meeting agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda items?
Make a motion, sir. Mr. Chairman, you need a motion?
Yes, sir, please.
No one has to add anything or do anything, so the motion is that we accept it.
All right, and we get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, it passes. Moving on to number C, do we have approval of the meeting minutes for December 2019 and also January 22nd, 2020?
Make a motion to accept.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved, it passes. At this time, we'd like for the Ron Suller Group to speak on behalf of healthcare insurance benefits, if you would.
Absolutely.
The floor is yours.
Appreciate your time and commitment this afternoon and this evening. My name's Rob Chomo, President of Sellers Benefits Group. We have Kim Garland here as well to represent us. The spirit of us being out here this evening is to talk over the history of the healthcare and what we've done for Central County Water District and what position we put that company in as it pertains to healthcare and plan design and going out to bid and looking at alternative healthcare options. We've been associated with you all for 16 years. So obviously there's a lot of tenure here and with that, where you guys are located and the carriers that are available in the state of Florida, we've positioned you and we've provided you. John passed out some illustrations that Kim's going to go through. She's head of our analytics department, so she's in charge of all of our quoting and analytics as it pertains to companies, whether it be 8 employees to 8,000 employees. How do we position large and small companies in this region around healthcare and solutions around healthcare? So with that said, I'll turn it over to Kim to talk about what we've done in the past. There's some financial illustrations here to talk about Florida Blue, United Healthcare, and how we look at alternatives on an annual basis. Any questions before I turn it over to Kim?
Any questions from the board? Go ahead, Christina.
Well, like Rob mentioned, we've been with you for 16 years. We've been with Blue Cross since 2004. The average trend increase for health insurance for small groups over the past 4 years has been about 8.6%.
Yeah, speaker, we can barely hear you, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
With the fan.
Yeah, why don't you move the microphone?
Sorry about that. Make sure it's on. Thank you so much.
As I mentioned, the average trend for health insurance for small groups over the past 4 years has been 8.6%. The average increase for the past 4 years for Central County Water has been 6.1%. What I show you on the first page here is what we've done, what your increases have been in the past 4 years. In 2017, your increase was 9.6, keeping the plan the same, not making any plan changes. In 2018, it was 10.4. 2019, it was 1.6% increase, and in 2020, we were able to get a renewal for 2.8%. Below that are the optional carriers that were, I also went out to quote for. Every year, I've always gone out to other carriers to make sure that the plans that you have and the rates that you have are in line with what the other carriers are offering. And as you can see, every year, Aetna, Humana, and United Care have not been competitive. They've not been a good fit for our Central County Water. So we continue to stay with Blue Cross. Blue Cross has the largest network in the state of Florida. They have the greatest reimbursements out of all of the carriers, and what that means is the doctors get reimbursed more from Blue Cross than any of the other carriers. Okay. On the next page, I'll show you what we showed this year as far as options for you. The current plan that you're currently on is the Blue Options Plan, which is Blue Cross's largest network. It has a $1,000 deductible. Like I mentioned, the increase this year was 2.8. I also showed you an alternate Blue Cross plan that benefits were not quite as good as the plan that you're on now, but it did show a savings cost. And then thirdly was United Healthcare. Again, benefits not as good, and the increase was 38% over current. The last page, it shows you why, even if we went to that other Blue Cross plan that would show you a savings cost, it was not a better plan for the employees. If an employee went into the hospital and had a 2-day stay in the hospital and the allowed amount was $3,000, on the plan that they're currently on, the employee would have to pay out of pocket $600. If we went to the plan that saved money for the premiums, a person in that same position would end up paying $2,250. Clearly not a better plan for the employee. And with United Healthcare, they would have ended up paying $2,450. Any questions on any of that?
Any questions?
So the plan renewed February 1st, not that you all are locked in for a calendar or a 12-month contract. If there was a carrier out there, if United Healthcare was a better fit, we could move to there. But as Kim talked about, each year we go out prior to the renewal time to look for alternatives. Florida Blue is still the best and the brightest for you all. Obviously, the cost savings or the cost incurrence of a 38% rate increase for worse benefits with United Healthcare isn't a viable option. But know that each year, towards the end of each year, because your renewal is February, we go out to market and we look at the alternatives and we look at essentially different carriers. And looking at trend, obviously, we're beating trend when we look at other companies, larger and smaller than what we're talking about for Central County. We're beating trend right now as it pertains to the plan design and the carrier. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all from?
No, I just have to look this over, and if I have any questions, we'll definitely reach out to you. Any questions, Denise? Emilio, Becky?
I do have one.
Sure.
I would like to ask you guys to come over here to with the employees like every 6 months or so they understand better how is the process, the benefits, everything they can get out of this.
I'd be more
If
than
it's
happy to
fine
meet
with
with
you
your
guys.
employees, absolutely.
Yeah, so
I appreciate it.
what we could set up is an open enrollment process to where we encourage spouses and the folks that are on the plan to attend those meetings. We can give literature prior to those semi-annual meetings to distribute, so their understanding of what they have and how they can use it and how to most efficiently benefit from those benefits. So absolutely, we can get on calendars and set up dates. We encourage spouses to come to those because half the information that I get goes to my significant other, and I need to communicate with her and figure out what we're going to do as a purchase for a family. So 100%, we're more than willing and happy to do that.
I welcome employers to come to me.
for us to come out to them so I can explain to people how to use their benefits, what other benefits are available through Blue Cross that they have access to. So, yeah, we can set something up if you want.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. I know you travel a good distance. You're welcome to leave.
Not a problem. Be insulted if we decline.
Well, we wouldn't even,
No, John said
we're not trying to
the,
rush you out of here and get that, it's just.
no, John said the meetings could get interesting, but we're gonna get on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to take public comments.
I'll bring one.
Would you put the mic up there? Chris, would you like to present yourself first, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, John, for the
Go ahead. State your name. That kind of stuff.
Chris Self, 266 Avenue Hill Club. Are we going to be talking about the voting absentee ballots today?
I believe that is on the agenda for the attorney to discuss that, yes.
Okay, well, it's going to be kind of simple. I oppose absentee ballots, and we have many reasons why. We had a gentleman by the name of Roberto Colon that he supposedly voted, but he said that he did not vote. We actually had supervisors that turned in proxy votes for candidates that he's not supposed to be doing. There's a lot of issues with it. So even if it was to be ran supposedly correct, there's been so many issues with it. Nobody knows who really sent it in.
Good.
Like with the Dash Coco, it's 20 something votes and the name wasn't even complete, but it was still turned in. The CPA, Bob Hendricks, we spoke to him. He said he will not ever again, ever be a CPA for any of our elections because of the stuff that he's seen.
Understood.
And he was not very happy with it. He's put in this predicament.
Actually, well, if you could wait for the end of the meeting, I think you'll see that I think neither one are approved for this upcoming election.
Well, that's for now, but if a bill is pushed, which I don't know if Central County is going to have a bill, they're going to do some kind of litigation or lobbying for it, but I oppose any absentee ballot or proxy voting.
I got you. Okay.
That's just my stance.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you leave,
Yes, sir.
you have the letter that we received from Tallahassee? They have it. You have it?
From who? From Moody?
The Attorney General, yeah.
Yes, we do
Your
have
wife
it.
Yeah,
has it.
yeah, we have it. Yeah, we have it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next one, Marcy Self.
For the record, my name is Marcy Self. I reside at 266 Avenida del Club. And what I want to talk about is the elections and the absentee ballots as well. I don't know what you guys have on the agenda that's going to be spoken tonight. I know reading the minutes from the last meeting, as far as I could read them, it does say that you were supposed to vote whether or not you're going to push to try to get our bill, put a bill through where we can change our charter to accept the absentee ballots. So here I have a packet, and I spoke to you, Juan Lara, before, and I told you how I did meet with the Senator, Pasadoma, and I also spoke to Byron Donalds, Secretary and House Representative. They have everything that I'm about to present to you, as far as everything that we were able to gather as to why we should not accept the absentee ballots, the legality of our elections the last time that we had the elections, all the issues that were, brought up. They know everything, so I did understand that obviously, this has to be voted by you guys, but also I believe that as a community, we should have the right to vote on it, and there should be community input, obviously. And I believe by far we have not had community input. A lot of the community does not know what happened. So before anything can be said as far as pushing a bill or voting on that, the community needs to be heard on that as well. So I can go ahead and give you this. It's a lot of material to read, but basically it's everything that the Senator Pasadoma and the House of Representatives, Mr. Byron Donalds, was given. And I want to be able to share that with you. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I do agree with a lot that you're saying, Marcy, is that the community does need to know. But the problem is, a lot here is, like, for instance, we're at, what, 2,000 to 3,000 people in Montura, and you do the math, there's less than, what, maybe less than 1%. That's been the issue for a long time. So the community definitely needs to get involved and know what's going on. And as far as myself, I like to be transparent as possible, so whatever information I do give, I definitely would love for the residents, whether they agree or disagree, to definitely have their input. This is America, the best country to live in, still is the best country to live in. That's the rights that we have, that we're given, and so I appreciate all that you're doing, and it's definitely being looked into.
And if I can make a comment
Go
too
right
as
ahead.
well, I believe a lot of the community has been discouraged, especially with this last election, because we did have a lot of people that came out and voted in person, and that showed in the votes. And I believe because also the negligence of the board to vote and do nothing about it, whenever this issue was brought up on how our charter does not accept absentee ballots, the board voted to do nothing about it. To leave it up to a candidate who ran to basically be the one to litigate all that, to file everything in court. And that, to me, I think that alone shows that the negligence. I believe as a board members, you guys took an oath to be able to serve the community, to do what is right. And also, you know, you guys are, you operate under Chapter 298.
We do.
And I believe that's supposed to be well known by each member of the board, what you can and cannot do based on Chapter 298.
Right.
So, you know, as an attorney who is well known and does this for a living, and you know, I mean, he's your attorney for Chapter 298, you should
Yes.
also know that, I mean, there is anything in our chapter that says that we can accept absentee ballots. And that should have been noted. That should have been known. I think everybody, board members should have known that.
Yep.
So,
And also, just to piggyback, I appreciate it, and just to piggyback on what you're saying, even the two candidates that ran, that myself and Benny won, rather controversial, not their campaign, spoke on absentee ballot, and it was done here. I don't know right or wrong, but it's been done here for a long time. So with the help of Mr. Famero and the board, we're trying to get it resolved so it can be done the right way going forward. Because it has been done, unfortunately, wrong for a long time, and it has to get corrected.
and obviously it's not going to be corrected by pushing a bill through to get these absentee ballots accepted. That's not the way to correct this issue. Even if it's been done for over 30 years, it still does not correct what has happened.
Yes.
So,
We share, again, you have your opinion, and we're really thankful about it. But in my opinion, when we vote, Ms. Hoots is right here in attendance as well. When we vote for the President of the United States, you also have the privilege to absentee ballot. Even some of the elections that we have now coming up, there's that privilege. So again, it's either way. It doesn't bother me anyway. But
but
yes,
after, you know, under a special district, we fall under Chapter 298, which is our
Yes.
laws that we have to follow.
You're absolutely correct.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, these laws have to be
Absolutely.
followed for these special districts. Otherwise, you know what? Turn everything into a general election.
Yeah.
Every single board member would have to run under a general election.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, Ms. Self,
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, sir. Floor is yours.
if you recall, I did not know the law. I asked Mr. Fuedo, correct me if I'm wrong, to get a ruling on it. Okay? So from the beginning, I stated that I did not know what, because I wasn't here 20 years ago. And whatever happened before my time that was done wrong, I cannot accept responsibility for what happened before I got here. Now that I know the law, I tend to agree with you,
Yes.
what you're saying. So but now I have a ruling from the state stating what the law is. So I just want you to know that. I don't want you to keep saying that everybody here, because I was not part of everybody here. I was clear that I did not know the law to comply with. Now that I know the law, I will comply with it.
I understand that as well, but I also think that it's your duty to know the Chapter 298 as soon as you are placed on that seat or as soon as you occupy that seat, you should know that. Because this is what you have to operate under. So if you rely solely on what your attorney tells you, I mean, I think negligence of the law is not an excuse for not doing something, you know? So at the end of the day, and I understand what you're saying, now you are saying, you're acknowledging that it was, that you did not know this, but I think at the end of the day, every single board member should know. It's a very big chapter. It's not very long. It's very easy to read. I think everybody as a board member should know what to follow when it comes to the statute that they operate under.
For the record, when I got here, this was being done for the last 10 years,
Right.
okay? I did not have a piece of document, a law. So I was ignorant of the law because there was nothing in writing stating what the law is. Now that I have the document, I will comply with what the law is. Thank you very much for your effort.
I have a comment to
I
make.
have one minute. No, go ahead.
I don't feel that I am obligated to know exactly all the laws that are under 298. The reason why we have experts in their fields is so that regular citizens, residents that run for this position have consultation with them. It is not my fault or anybody's fault here that I'm talking about the supervisors, that we didn't know that that law was changed to no more ballots. We are not responsible to know those 200 or 100 and something. We have counsel, we have an engineer, we have an accountant. And that is the reason why the districts were assigned experts in that field, because they knew that we, the citizens, the residents, were not going to be the expertise on it. Do we know about it now? Yes, we do. Can we do something about it now? We probably can. But it's impossible for you to think that I am going to memorize, because it's simple to you, because it's only 110 laws, that I am going to memorize it so that when I come here and sit here once a month, I know exactly every single law. I am not doing it. I am responsible. Hold on, I haven't finished. I'll let you speak. I am responsible for doing something, for having the lawyer, the expertise, tell me and instruct me what I can do, what I cannot do. That's why they're there. I am not responsible. The same thing when I sign checks, and you're telling me that I'm stealing money or that I'm, prove it. I'm putting that as an example. Just because I signed the check, I am stealing the money or I'm putting another funds? No. I'm signing a check that was given to me, that was written out and designated by an accountant and by an office, and I'm just putting my signature on it because I am responsible for that check to be cashed for the company that is going to be paid. So I just wanted to make that statement clear. That's why these people are here.
3 minutes are up, Nancy.
Sorry.
Well, at the end of the day, you cannot properly serve your community unless you do know what you're operating under.
Well-
And I can understand you saying that this is the reason why you pay these people here to do it, but at the end of the day, it's not hard. It's very simple to look, especially when it came to the elections. It's very simple. It's not a long, these statutes are not long at all.
If it's so
But I
simple.
respect what you're saying. That's fine. I respect what you're saying, but like I said, my opinion is, as a board member, you would not be properly able to represent your community.
Marcy.
And when these issues are being brought to you, if you do not know what the law states you can do.
It wasn't done 20 years ago. It wasn't done 30 years ago.
There was an observation done with the elections in 2004, and it was brought to your attention, everything that was wrong with the elections. There was recommendations given by the state of Florida, Department of Elections, recommendations back in 2000. I understand that, but there was other board members that were.
Oh.
So, that's what I'm saying. There were recommendations that were not taken into account, and there are recommendations on problems that we're having
I'm
up
sure
to
they
this
were,
day.
but that was before us.
All right, thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We shouldn't be having to do this for them.
I want to say something for the record. I've been here, this is the second time around for a long time. Our attorney, Mr. Stevens, and I'm going to tell you how this all happened. And why I chose to do what I did. For many years ago, there was proxy voting here. People were going around getting proxies and 2 or 3 people controlling elections. According to Mr. Stevens, they had done what they were supposed to have done and had it all in order, showed us a form, a paper. I didn't read the whole thing years ago. We now can, instead of proxy voting, we're gonna do the absentee vote. It's done everywhere in America for just about everything in the world, so no one questioned it. It's been done for over 20 years here. So, when this came up this time, what exactly are you going to do? Null and void an election? Are you going to null and void the last 20 years of election? You can't. So that was the rules that everyone played by. So here we are. Now they're going to be changed and they're going to fix. Supposedly there's a piece of paper around that no one has seen that says this. This is what Stevens said. I don't know. I've been told where it was. We never found it. So was it a big lie? I don't know. That's what our legal counsel told us way back then. So nobody tried to defraud anybody or do anything wrong here. It's the way it's been done, and it's the way it continues. Now, we said that we would fix it, and I think everyone here is committed to fix it. However it is, we're going to fix it. That's true. Now, some of the things that there was a group here from the government years back. I was right there with them, and we heard the recommendations. They said we were doing what we were told. They were all happy, and they left. In that some of those conversations, they also agreed that the absentee voting was okay. Maybe they thought there was a piece of paper that they didn't see, but they gave it their blessing. I was right there. So negligent, no one here has been. After the election, it was brought up. Well, it was brought up, let's prove it. By that time, we've been on this board for a while. What are you going to do? You can't take it back, and you can't take back the last 20 years. All we can do is fix from today on, and we're going to. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney will speak on it later. Thank you. Thank you for that. Next public comment is Salsa, excuse me, Del Riaz. If you would. Floor is yours. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great.
I'm Salsa Villarreal, and my husband and I own property at 765 South Palm. And I'm here to speak about the reservoir keys. We've owned property for a couple of years here. We have always abided by the law. We have purchased our reservoir keys in the past, and this year when my husband came to renew it, not only was it more expensive, but now I'm only entitled to 3 bikes. My family and I do not live here. We live in Miami. We come up for the weekends when we can, and we're a family of 4. Each one of us owns an ATV. So I was told that I have to pay $30 per day every time my immediate family comes up for the weekend. So to give you simple math, minimum, let's say we come only twice a month, for 10 months, I'm spending $600 just for one of my sons to come. So all 4 of us could be here. So I was a little outraged by that. I was asked if I had a problem to please come and speak to the board,
Yes.
and I am here. Even though it's my first meeting, I do keep up with the minutes that are posted on the website, and I heard that it was voted on at some point by the Guardians of the Reservoir. I may have missed it in one of the minutes, but I did not see it anywhere listed that it was only 3 bites, $150, and the $30 per guest. By the way, I should say that I do not have a problem with the $30 per guest. I have a problem paying for my immediate family.
Thank you, but just to give you some information and thank you for bringing up your question. The Guardians actually, what we did is about a year ago, say about a year, 3 months ago, everybody and their mother came to Montour Ranch Estates to ride their 4-wheelers wide open and do whatever they want to. So what we found out is there was a lot of people just doing what they want to. We do have wetlands and also other types of species, but everybody was enjoying it more than the residents of Montour Ranch. So some of the gentlemen and some of the people in the community got together and built a committee to oversee the reservoir. So what they do is really they don't vote on anything. They bring their recommendations to the board. And then the board, which is 5 of us, we vote yay or nay on what they will and will not be able to do. So with that being said, yes, it was voted on. And as you well know, not everything is gonna go everybody's way. But the gentleman that oversees it, and his team is in the back that oversee it, so if you have any questions, you can definitely ask them. Hold on, Josh, you can definitely ask them. And there's always little tricks of the trade, and they'll show you how to maximize the people coming into the reservoir. I don't know your math, but I can sit down and figure it out. But I know he's had that question many a times, and he's found a way to help the people out doing
Mr.
that.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
being that this is a unique case, that she has 4 family members, we base our recommendation in 3. I hereby move that, we have my motion, and then you can say no or yes.
Okay.
We vote on it, if it's a second, all right? That's the way the law is. You can say you can't.
But you have to understand, here's what you have to understand, Louis. We gave our allegiance to the committee over there, that anything we did, we would get with them first, and then we would vote on it the next meeting.
Okay? Do they rule?
No, sir, they give their recommendations. They give their recommendations, and we gave our word to them.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, the floor is yours.
First of all, yes, we can. If I make a motion and a
Okay.
second and we vote on it,
Okay.
yes, we can,
Okay,
all right?
go ahead.
So, being that we base our regulations on a party of 3, okay? And in this case, it's a unique case
Okay,
that has 4 family members that all have
ATVs.
18. So I hereby move that we grant this individual case an extra pass for their bike that is missing.
motion's on the floor. There's a second. All in favor? All opposed? The nays pass. Denied.
Right, I have another recommendation. Since my husband and I are,
What's that?
since.
I didn't hear you guys go yay, nay, look at me.
2 said nay, 1 said yay. 2-1.
And gentlemen, nay.
It didn't have to go to a vote. If it's not seconded, it dies. It didn't have to be voted on.
All right,
You're right,
so,
because you didn't get a second, right?
Hold on, sir. You gotta hold on. If you want to speak, you have to fill out form.
since we are both on, the deed, and we're both landowners, I should be able then to buy a second key.
I have a question.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. We're gonna have to fill out information. It's not gonna be a free-for-all, people. Say that again, sorry.
That since my husband and I are both landowners,
Okay.
I should be able to buy a second key.
Josh, can you answer that question?
It's been 1 key per property,
Okay.
is what it's been, because there's some properties out here that's got 5 or 6 people's on the names. And they can all say, well, we want to bring all of our immediate family, you're talking about 20, 30 people. And that's what was kind of happening in the past a little bit.
So what's on the, can you give her, do you have the rules and what they?
Yeah, we have the rules. But it's been, I guess it was supposed to be 1 key per property, is what it's always been.
Okay.
Okay, so how about if, my husband and I get a divorce, I want to come on one weekend, he wants to come on another weekend, he's not gonna give me the key, what am I supposed to
That's
do?
between y'all, that would be y'all's divorce, that has nothing to do with us. Y'all have to work that out, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't have-
How many kids do you have?
How many
Yes, sir.
kids do I have? I have none.
One at a time, please. Thank you.
Exactly.
Josh, how would you resolve this? What is the bottom line?
Well, that's the reason why we've had the meetings in the past. We've had the 6 or 7 meetings where the whole community set the rules and regulations in. We didn't. The whole community put it all together. But we advertised it for, I don't know how many months, for a long time.
Advertise it where?
It's been advertised here, it's been put on the board, it's been on Facebook.
Okay, I don't live here, and I said, I'm not a resident. To make it to this meeting, I had to ask permission at work to leave early. Just to come and speak on my immediate family. And I'm sure that there's more people, because a lot of families have usually 2 kids. So where else is it advertised? Like, for the people that don't come to these meetings, where did you advertise that? In which month minutes did that come out on?
When we started before November, I think, wasn't it?
In September, you had one, and it was on our website.
What?
The meeting that they were gonna hold.
Right, but I want to know where it came out that the key was going to only have 3 passes, 3 bites.
What is it now?
Where did you post that the key would only be entitled for 3 bites?
It's in the rules, so when you sign your key, when you.
Right, but before that, you said that.
It's on our website. It's on our website. I can show you.
More people can come in here.
Hey guys, hold on, we're not gonna get out of control, please.
Yeah, let me
Let's
say
just
something,
bring
maybe
it
to
back.
wind this up. What you don't understand is the disaster that was here. This place was visited from people from all over the state. They were running in and out of that reservoir, ripping and roaring and doing everything they wanted. People like you who own property here, and everybody here, me included, we were gonna lose, at some point, we were gonna lose the right to use the reservoir. And let me tell you, it may be sooner than you think. We've already had who was that? I can't remember the agency that was out here on my last time on this board. They were here, they said, they gave us a list of things that had to be done. I mean, they were coming to get us. It had to be done, no more riding in the wetlands, and they had to be fenced off. It was gonna cost us a fortune to divide this place up so anybody could even ride. For some reason, they turned around and they left and they've never been back. Everywhere that they attacked, there's been changes. I know people that have been fined $10,000 a day for every track they put on the wetlands. For some reason, they haven't been back. I don't know why. Where I'm going is everybody cannot continue to do whatever they wanted to do. So we've met, and we've made some basic rules to try to keep the traffic down and the chaos. And that's where we wound up. Because this place was I'll say it again, was a free-for-all. People, there was a club, a local club that was advertising in Montura. They'd have 30 people out there riding that didn't have the sharing key. It was a disaster.
We agree with you.
So we backed up, formed this committee. They've done a hell of a job. They spent a lot of nights out there watching and looking and reporting what was going on, and these were the adjustments that were made. I would advise that you get with them and get on their mailing list or however they're doing it and attend some of these meetings, and through these meetings and the advice we get, the changes will be made accordingly. We want this to work for everybody, but it could not continue at the rate it was going.
And also, so we can conclude this, I appreciate your comment, appreciate you asking the question. All rules and all things can be adjusted with time. Again, you can visit with them. Nothing's in concrete. Everything can be adopted, can be amended. So again, I would suggest you get with the board that oversees that area right there. And because you guys enjoy it, just like the rest of us do that live out here, we appreciate that. And if there's stuff that they can do for you in the future, if they come with that recommendation, I'm pretty sure things can happen for you.
I will speak to them. I also have a question on the guest passes. I was told that we pay it at here, the office, at the district office. But like I said, we don't live here, and if we get here on Friday, it's after work, so we're here late at night. So if we have to buy it on Saturday or Sunday, who do we turn to?
Again, I would ask that question to the committee, because I'm pretty sure that's not the first time that's come up, and he's shaking his head like it's not. So if you get with him, they can figure out something for you.
Okay. Another recommendation, I know I've noticed on your website that back in 2017 and 18, you posted like audio meetings or video meetings. I haven't seen that anymore. Can you do maybe like a Facebook Live or something where the people that cannot get out here are able to listen in and be aware of what's going on? I read the minutes, but not everybody does. And there's a lot of things that go on that the minutes don't have.
We do get videos. It hasn't. Once the meeting minutes get approved, they do burn the meetings and they do send them out. But we have to get enough board members here to the meetings and approve the meeting minutes, and then they can get them out. That's why some of the meeting minutes have to come
like
out.
video.
She's saying,
live.
I think it's a good idea.
We haven't.
And you'll have more participation, you'll have more people that maybe can get out
Yes, ma'am.
here and see what's going on, and then they can come in and give their
Gotcha.
suggestions.
It was voted on that we were not gonna have, videos, and one of the reasons that it's liable is that people don't come to the meetings. So if we have a meeting right here, that they don't have to go anywhere outside, and they don't come to this meeting, to our meetings once a month, do you really think they're gonna look at the video? I'm just throwing that out at you.
I probably will, but I don't know about, I can't speak.
Right, you and I will, and all that. We were coming up with something, should I
We
say it now or later on?
Go right ahead.
I was talking with Becky, and the minutes that she had for the last meeting, we were working on them. They were 6 pages long. I said, that's not acceptable. We have voted on already that we would just do bullets when you were chair.
I guess.
So the idea that I had, and we came up with it, was that we will have an extra video done for the community. 3 days you could have it. You leave a $12 deposit. If you bring it back at the end of the 3 days, you get back your deposit money. So that way you didn't have to buy it. And if you want to keep it, well, we keep the $12. But I know that might not help you.
Well, I would have to purchase it, maybe you can mail it, because
We can
I
definitely,
won't-
we're in
yeah.
2020, we can definitely
It was
figure out
voted up
something.
something.
We're in
I
2020.
don't recall ever voting that we don't post the video on our webpage.
I was told we did.
You was told.
No. But you guys voted not to live video on Facebook.
Live video.
Live video
Right,
on
right,
Facebook.
Right, but
Yes.
what she's saying, if I heard her right, is the minutes of the minutes, they should be loaded into a webpage.
They are.
The minutes are loaded, I read the minutes, but
She's
on
talking
the
about the
video,
video.
The video.
there was video, the last video was in
Right.
2018.
Right.
Okay, so why is the videos not being uploaded to the webpage?
You gotta approve them, Louis.
Yes.
We gotta approve the minutes first.
Okay, so you say the last one was what?
2018.
2018, we are 2020? I
2020.
think those been approved by now.
They should've.
So why,
You got some work to do, brother.
Yeah,
When we became aboard the office, there was no upload videos anywhere.
okay, so we're gonna upload them now, all the ones from the last one up to the current.
I
Is someone
believe,
taking video now?
Pardon? Yeah,
There's two of them. There's two of them.
we have the videos and back up, so we're gonna load them up.
That would help.
And I'm
Great
sorry.
recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts.
No problem. What's that?
We're gonna upload the videos on the website.
Yes.
depending on you guys.
We have to vote on it?
No, we don't have to vote on it, so it's already
Mr. Chair,
established.
can I?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
So, I was actually the one who helped create the video inside the website. And when we did that, we did two things. We have a channel on YouTube where you can upload any videos. So we have that.
Is
So
there
government, government
actual
has-
account?
Free, yeah, it's a
Or-
government, on YouTube, government gets a free channel. And then we also have the capacity to upload videos to the webpage. So if the board wants to, that can be done. It's not a,
Yeah, I don't see no problem with it.
From what you've seen, the more
a
people
video
come to
beats
meetings.
meeting minutes. Meeting minutes is impossible to capture everything.
Yes, sir.
So video is better.
Gotcha.
John, from your experience, the more people come to meetings when you have the films on for them to see it, or when you don't have it?
That's irrelevant.
No, I don't think, to be honest
Doesn't
with
make
you,
a
it
difference.
doesn't have an impact. When
it's already
people
being
want to
recorded.
speak to an issue, they show up because you have to show up.
I think it's good to give the people what they see so they don't hear miscommunication or take something out of context, and that happens a lot for some reason in our community. Everything's taken out of context, but again, to have certain things is really good. Is the AC working or is it broken?
I was gonna ask.
It is working.
Man, I'm really sick here.
No, it's-
Thank you, so I know you've been up to it.
You
Marcia,
probably
you had
have
a
a
question?
fever, Mr. Martin.
No, it
It's
was
hot.
answered.
It's
I
hot.
was just, when I was gonna ask if the meetings are
Yes,
recorded,
ma'am, they are.
then it's just a matter of just uploading it, so.
That's all.
So, do we don't have to vote on it, you said?
Well, I suggest you do some, give staff some direction.
I hereby move that we upload all the videos that we have to the current, to this meeting, but all the other ones been approved already. So with the exception of this meeting, I hereby move that we upload all the videos.
If I may just, remember, it's a public record. Someone could literally make a phone call once a month and say, give me the video.
You have to
This
pay
way we
for
could
it.
say, it's on the website, it's there, it's uploaded. And also, again, meeting minutes, they are imperfect because they,
Yes, sir.
by definition, they miss things. When you put the video, it is what it is. It speaks for itself. We created the website to get as much information to the public as possible. I think it's a public service to get the videos out.
Not a problem. So Lewis has a motion on the floor. Do you have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes passed. Motion carries. Thank you. Can we go back to 2C, John? Has that been approved? I don't even know if that's been approved. Sorry. Forgive me, people, I'm still learning.
Meeting minutes. Yeah.
Meeting minutes?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
See if someone can do that.
On number 2C, board, can we get an approval for the meeting minutes for December 18, 2019 and January 22nd, 2020? So moved. No. One?
So moved to accept.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Denise, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Let's go forward, thank you. Also, I'll give a quick recommendation here in a minute. So, want to go to our manager's report? Something's wrong with the AC, we didn't do AC mechanic. Arminio, the floor is yours.
Sure. The first thing I always mention on my report is about the roads. If any, I know it is down there. We haven't received the thing yet, but everything you guys see on green on that map is brand new rebuilt roads, and everything you guys see on blue is new covers. They were all collapsed. We still got a lot of more to go, but
go ahead, Arminio.
And I put some numbers for you guys. Last year, on the budget 2018-19, we spent $257,000 rebuild the roads.
Is that on Shell Rock?
Yes.
Is that what you're making reference to, material?
Yes, road field.
Okay.
Yeah. So far, on the new budget, we're up to 160,000.
Okay.
So, and then on the back page, you can see all the roads on East Avenue that we have done so far on this budget.
Okay. We're 50% through the fiscal year, right?
On road building, yes.
So if you keep that up, it'll be about 320,000 this year. This fiscal year.
Not really, because the raining season is coming, and during the raining season, it's really hard to work with the roads. Not really.
So maybe like last year, maybe.
It'll be like, yeah.
Okay. We will not be over our budget.
I can assure that, but it's not gonna be over 257,000. Is that what you're asking? More or less.
Okay.
Yes. Unless
Because of the auditor and all that, I mean, I'm for the roads, but when it comes to the time that we cannot go any further because of the money, we stop.
Well, when you say we stop, does that mean we don't do any more roads?
No, what is the limit that we have set for the roads?
Is 200,000.
200,000?
Yes.
And up to now, we're up to what?
160,000.
We have 40,000 more to go.
There's 200,000 of the road paving and surfacing, and then there's 110,000 of rebuilding dirt roads.
Right.
So that's,
Right. Plus we have 90,000 that was already on the budget for maintenance of road. So we have 200 and something on resurfacing and 200,000 on maintenance of road. Yes.
Okay. Keep going, bro. Thank you.
We've been doing a lot of watch outs on the main canal over here on Cabbage Palm. I haven't told this to Mr. Bennett yet, but we have to get together and do something with the main canal on the east side of that canal, because it's kind of breaking down. It's not the way it was 4 years ago, so we're gonna have to do something about that.
Sooner the better.
Yes.
The sooner the cheaper.
There's a big one right now by 9 and 10, right next to the gate. On 9 and 10, that we're gonna have to do something about it.
Question, don't we have a machine? We still have a big machine.
Yeah, but we can reach over there with that. Yeah. We're gonna have to. My plans are when we get the rental for the reservoir for the cleanup, we can use it to fix that one too. We did the Valentine's dance in the clubhouse. We got total of 42 people, 25 with children, which was the main idea for the children. We got 15 driveways this month. We got total of 26. We're still doing the boom mower, almost done with both cycles. We have a long way to go. And just so you guys know, because a few people have called me about that, the way we're doing it is we're doing roads mainly between Monday and Thursday. And then Friday, we use that day to do maintenance on the grader. As you guys know, that grader is 12,000 hours already, and I don't want to lose it because I know.
Is it a cat? Is it a cat?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's a cat. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It ain't scary.
And I already asked for some quotes on a grader. I have one. I haven't bring it yet because the grader is still working fine. But just so you guys know, it's 12,000 hours already.
Cat out there to handle that.
Yeah, that's a lot of hours.
So we're doing roads Monday through Thursday, and Fridays we're using it for bulk garbage pickup, the boom mower, trimming the ditches, all that.
Don't forget the clubhouse, the floor.
Yes, we already sent the email to Mr. Bennett, so he can send one of his engineers over there and check it out. Okay. We're working on the pool side. Again, you know, new codes, new everything. So we have a contractor that is doing what we need in the pool, and he also finished all the handrails. So the inspector should be back this week to finish that. And I'm recommending that we do something about the pool room. And the reason why is because I've been working on the pool room for the last couple of weeks with the flow meter and pipes and this and that. And to my opinion, I haven't mentioned this to Bennett yet because that was recently. We're gonna have to do something about the main pool because it's cracking really bad because of the chemicals and all that. So, and that's bricks. So I want to take the opportunity so when Bennett go there to see the floor, you can also take a look at the pool room because it's getting bad.
You're talking about the floor of the clubhouse that's going downward, like you showed me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were saying the pool.
Yeah, I thought you said the pool floor.
You said the pool floor.
Yes. No.
You said the pool floor.
The pool floor is fine. I'm talking about, we got together, Bennett and me, on the
Talking about the
clubhouse.
settling of the foundation. You're talking about the settling of the foundation where they use pilings and stuff like that, right? Okay.
We
You
talking
said
about the
pool
clubhouse
floor.
or the pool?
We're talking about the clubhouse floor.
Okay, all right,
And-
all right, okay, all right.
You said pool.
Oh, I'm sorry, my
It's all right.
mistake.
I was confused.
We're talking about the clubhouse floor and the pool room
Okay,
outside.
okay, all right.
Right.
Well, you showed them.
That sounds a lot better.
I was there with you that day.
Yes.
Understood.
So, like I said, we have a contractor there now that is doing a lot of metal stainless steel work because a few code change for the pools and now the filter bus cannot be open and it's got to be stainless steel and it's really expensive. So, and it's got to be done, otherwise we're not going to pass inspection. Everything else is fine in the clubhouse. We're still painting on the pavilions. And another thing I'm planning to do, if it's okay with you guys, once I got the numbers, we have the equipment. I want to bring back the baseball field. That used to be all the way back in the clubhouse. It's not there anymore. It's covered by grass, but I know it's there because I used to take care of that baseball field by hand. And I have to stop because I couldn't by hand.
Could it be done after I see the air conditioning in that clubhouse?
And I haven't finished it.
Oh, okay.
I haven't finished
I'm
it.
glad that you have.
I haven't finished it. So, the AC. Right, we're gonna have to check on this number.
Not working now?
It's not working. Go
So,
ahead.
the
Have
AC.
them check this one too.
Yeah, first this one.
Go ahead.
The AC, like I mentioned before, we do have an employee that is certified for AC.
Call him. Come on.
He's licensed and he's willing to do the work for a very fair price, which is $25,000. Our quote from before was 56, if I don't mistake, Becky.
Well, there was one for 33, you guys have the two poles in there.
You guys have the,
I'll let you speak, but I have a comment because we're going to need counsel on this. Go ahead.
okay. And then it's up to you guys if you want to do the.
John,
Mr. Jones.
so I was looking over the codes. We have an employee. Is it in our best interest to use an employee to do this type of work?
So legally, this is not subject to what's called CCNA. CCNA is what makes government put things out to bid. Even though it's not subject to CCNA, you know, a lot of governments, even if it's below the threshold, they follow it because that makes sure you get competitive bids. So at a minimum, I think we need to get competitive bids so that you can document. I'm going to give you my opinion. This is not a legal opinion. You know, we're government. When you give a job of $25,000 to an employee, and then this employee, in theory, is going to work 100% outside their normal work hours, you know the old smell test?
Yeah.
It smells bad. I got to tell you, even though, don't get me wrong, if this was my house, I'd be all over that guy, absolutely. But we're government, and I have to be honest, if you ask my gut tells me.
I got a question.
I don't know.
I got a question. Can you give him a leave of absence and let him do it? I mean, what's it gonna take? How long? The first thing I agree with you 100% is get bids from everyone, including him if we're gonna use it.
But is he gonna work at night and on the weekends? Is that it? I mean, how is he gonna? Or is he gonna take
what was the
off?
plan?
I mean,
He will have to do it on the weekends. The whole idea for the employee was that you guys asked me to get, good prices. Well, his price is way low, but I'll tell you what, if you guys have any questions, he's sitting right there, you can ask him.
Reason?
His name is Jose.
A question, John. Do you think it would smell better if he took a leave of absence and did the job and then came back to work?
It would smell less, but you still.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, and this is, I'll say, this has, I am sure you're a very skilled man, this has nothing to do with you. It really just has to do with when government spends money, everything has to be very, very transparent. And when you give a job to somebody and it's not bid, that's called sole source.
Yes, sir.
And that's really,
But we're talking about bidding it though.
yeah,
I would never consider it unless we bid it.
yeah.
But we're gonna save a lot of money for the district.
Remember, when you bid a project like that,
Yes.
they gotta have licensure,
Yes.
bonding,
Yes.
all those.
That's why I say, that's why you bid it. Everything's gotta be the same. And then for that price. But I would even entertain it unless some kind of leave of absence would be okay, you're gonna take you 3 weeks to do it, you're gonna take a leave of absence for 3 weeks. And that I've considered, but I don't know.
Where's all you, how many quotes do you have? And it's,
We have 3, including his.
So you have 4?
No, 3, including his.
Okay, gotcha.
3.
And where are
Three
they
total.
Jose, what is your job title here in the county?
Here, heavy equipment.
Heavy equipment operator. You ever heard on and beyond the call of duty?
Yeah, right.
No, let me finish.
I think he was gonna tell you.
I know that it's not in your job description, all right, from the beginning. But do you think you should consider doing the work on the clock and having employees to help you so we can save some money? Or you definitely setting your goals into, it's not my job, I don't want to do it?
I don't think
You can
that's
take
a
the
fair
fifth if
question.
you want
Mr.
to.
No,
Nathan. That's not a fair question.
let him answer the question, let him answer the question.
You don't have to answer that.
You can take the 5th if you want to, you don't have to answer.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah, don't put that.
No,
Are you licensed? Do you have a license? The answer is very easy.
Insurance?
Yeah, you got license and insurance, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way in the world. He'd be a fool to do it for that kind of money. He's paying license and
You're
insurance.
gonna also,
Yeah.
you know,
I answered for
I don't know, but I think part of this, you'd have to have a licensed electrician. I mean, you're gonna have to bring in other professionals.
Right.
You're gonna have to sub parts of this out, right?
Right. Well, if you look at the awards, each and one of them, the prices that you see there is only for AC. So third parties are not
So
covered.
the electrical is on
No.
top of that.
Yes. The engineer prices, electrical, all that is on
So
top
this
of.
is just installation of the AC units.
I have a great good question as far as all of them. Who's pulling the permits?
We do.
Wait a
We
minute.
who?
He's licensed, he can pull it.
Well, he can pull the permit. Yeah, he can pull the permit.
If he gets the bid.
Let me,
Well,
do we have all the quotes here somewhere? So we can sit and think about it and maybe make a decision the next meeting. Is that okay with everybody? When we get,
Yeah,
I
we
want to
can-
say something because
Go ahead.
I met with Mr. Bennett and with you.
right.
By the time I left,
I want you guys to keep something in mind. You guys asked me to get a good price to do my job with this, and that's what I'm doing. It's not, if you guys don't want him to do it, it's fine.
Nobody's
It's
saying-
not-
no, we haven't gotten to that. It's the way it looks.
Right.
By the time I left the clubhouse, we had done every situation in that clubhouse as to how to make it the least amount of air conditioning. Remember the argument you had with me because of the ceiling, how high it was? Mr. Bennett, you were there.
We-
How high it was and all that, and we said, wait.
We
let me
wasn't
finish.
arguing, we expressing our opinion.
Argument means to speak also. It has more definition than a fight. Un argumento doesn't mean we're fighting.
I know.
Okay, so we were saying, we finished saying, let's just take the side of the clubhouse and put air conditioning there, that we could even put the ones that come out, the Japanese ones. They're not windows, they're outside, and it's like runs like a regular air conditioner, square like that, and it's on the wall like the ones in the hotels. We
it's
got
a
to that
public
point.
place, you still might have to get a permit for that.
I'm not saying you're not, but we went from air conditioning the entire clubhouse to air conditioning 2 rooms of the clubhouse. Do you remember that conversation?
You're talking about the rooms that you want me to close?
Right, because you kept saying that it would have been impossible to do the entire clubhouse.
No,
That
no,
is-
no, 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 no.
That is a waste of money. I said that it was a waste of money to have all that air conditioning there. If it's not being used by X amount of people, let's just do those rooms. And that's what we came up to, which was minimal air conditioning. We were not gonna air condition the main hall. We were going to air condition the sides for conferences, for meetings, for workshops. You don't remember that part?
I remember the whole conversation, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so therefore, it's even less than less work than what he was gonna do. He was gonna do the entire.
Well, you guys asked me to get AC for the clubhouse, not
Right.
for,
Right, but looking at it and talking, because when you talk and you get ideas from the public and from you and from you, I listened to you, and then you said it wasn't, it's impossible. Look how high the ceiling is. We're throwing money out with the air conditioning, and we're not gonna lower the ceiling. Oh, you don't remember that? So I said, well, then let's just do 2 rooms.
no, yes,
Two
you say,
conference rooms.
you say that you wanted to do like a ceiling, and I said,
Right.
well, if you do a ceiling,
You will not
You-
see the structure.
no, the whole point is that that's a 60-year-old building, so you gotta be careful with everything
You
you
told me
need to
that
do
too.
in that building, because then you
Okay.
do one thing and you have to bring 20 others up to the code.
I think we should continue
So
this at
these are-
another meeting because
Yes, please, we have a
I will.
sidebar later. So these
I
are-
will.
So these are the 3 quotes that we have, right?
Yes, sir.
We have in our package, so we'll look at it, we'll ask questions about it, and then we can move on. Can you continue with the report?
I'm done.
All right. With that being said, Mr. Atkins, would you like to speak on behalf? I know you're probably a busy man. Would you like to speak at this present moment? Mr. Atkins he's the city commissioner for Clewiston, and he's also running in this year's election for District 4 for the county commissioner. Would you like to speak and address the audience?
I've got some cards here.
Okay.
I'll pass out before I leave.
Okay.
It's got my number on it. Anybody can give me a call and we can talk. I can come out and meet with you, see your concerns and see what Monterey needs,
Okay.
and let you know what my plans are and see where we can go from here.
Thank you. All right, thank you. So, yes, so we're going forward, the engineer's report. Mr. Bennett, you got the floor.
All right, we talked last time about the paving project for this year.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
We have the bid packages already if we wanted to go out for that, but we actually, since the meeting, the city of Lavelle had their bid opening for some paving work. And I reviewed their bids and their specifications, and we really, I believe, could get a better deal by piggybacking that project. But we got the paving would be virtually the same price for the asphalt paving as we had last year, but in the city's bid, it includes traffic control, it also includes the mobilization. So.
MOT, you talking about MOT?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing, the city's bid didn't include any striping or the reflective pavement marking. The county just opened bids today, and the same contractor got that contractor, got the city, and in the county thing, there are prices in there for paving. So I think we can figure that the paving for the city and the pavement marking for the county, that's legal and if we're aware of it, work out how to do the contract. I think we'd save ourselves some money.
So we're looking about, if we did approve or go forward, we're looking about the same amount that we spent last year for another 2 miles?
Actually, I ran some rough estimates. I didn't have the pavement marking things when I did last year. It looks like we can do the 2 miles we were talking about for about $165,000.
Is that out the door? inspection services, everything?
Probably be a little more than that, but it'd be definitely less than what we did last year. But last year, we also did a little more work. We had more shoulder work to do.
Yes, sir.
The shoulder was messed up. We actually rebuilt some stuff at the entrance there, 833. This one is a much more straightforward project. Wasn't just paving. We had 2,000 budgeted. We'll be under that for sure.
Can I look at it just one more time, because I don't like to get hit with a change order or anything, or those kind of things. I hate that. I'm just very passionate about not trying to come back. Oh, we missed that. That's another 25,000. Oh, we missed that. That's another 50,000.
Yeah, the price I just gave you was just an estimate. I didn't have the pavement marking stuff that I got with the county late this afternoon, so I can find that. And,
I'd like to see the total number. I mean, it's
and
a little bit more worries me sometimes.
Yeah. But I can have that. And get
1 inch, right?
everybody.
1 inch. Any questions on Mr. Bennett on that?
Everybody knows what piggybacking is?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I phrase?
Yes. See, it's probably this round.
Contractors, he will do it. We eliminate mobilization, we eliminate several things.
What is the time frame?
He is going to mobilize for the city's work within the next few weeks. And so we could actually have it started within 30 days.
Can we have on there, because I've dealt with a lot of contracts, can we have on there in the contract, like for instance, some guys say, well, Juan, it's a 6-month project. I don't have to mobilize in the first month. I don't have to mobilize second month, third month, fourth month. I can do this project in a week. Can we have like a schedule of values? And because what I want to do, anytime you do roads or anything like that, because you have MOT, that kind of stuff, you inconvenience the citizens. They're going to have to, drive around, that kind of stuff. So, and not only that, we want to definitely let the citizens know that, hey, by the way, on these dates, this is when we're going to see the people working.
Yeah, I can certainly get back with them and get that schedule going.
Just let me look at it just
wanted to
one more
do it
time.
As soon as they could with the city bid, because they don't have mobilization, they like to
do it all at one time.
To sit in their bell and do their work and then do right.
So they don't plan on dragging their feet then?
No.
Okay.
But you said 30 days. We'll be back meeting in 30 days to talk about it. Are we gonna have more time in 30 days?
We can. Yes, we certainly
Is
can.
everything gonna stay the same? We talk about it in the next meeting and then push on, or are we gonna lose the opportunity?
I think the opportunity is still there.
Okay.
Cool. Any questions from Mr. Bennett on that?
It is okay for Mr. Camaro to look at the contract stuff. So
I'm definitely okay with it. Anybody else on the board opposed to it?
I'd say go ahead and do everything you can do that don't cost us any money. We decide what we're gonna do.
Okay. Mr. Camaro, take a look at it. Just pay attention to every little crack and cranny. I don't like change orders. I don't like change orders. Okay. Keep going with your report. Thank you.
The only other thing I had is that we did have another training class for employees to be able to set the elevation for COVID, new COVID. And I think there was 4 employees there. We did that.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Bennett? Not being said, Mr. Boyd, floor is yours.
Alright, so this is the report for the month of January, so it's 4 months in the fiscal year. The bank account, we dispersed $162,909 last month. We're showing our total tax receivable that we haven't collected yet. Started off with $1,750,000. We got about $952 still outstanding. Next page shows a breakdown of the taxes we collected this month. Current taxes were about $115,000, $17,000 the prior year for $131,000. We're ahead of the year before, both in the current year, about $30,000, and delinquent taxes were ahead about $15,000. Those are both good items. As far as the budget so far, 4 months into the year, we're about $29,000 under budget.
Under?
care of it.
Is there any major, because like for instance, so when we do this surface overlay, and we're gonna continue to do over surface layer, it's gonna take quite a bit off the books. Is there anything that we don't expect? I'm asking all the subject matter experts here. Is there anything that we don't see that is gonna come off that might hurt us or take us for a loop here? Or we're gonna be consistent?
That wouldn't be an accounting question as much as whatever we're planning to spend on these streets and anything that pops up. But I mean, so far, everybody's saying we're staying in our budget.
Maybe we
From
need
an
to,
accounting standpoint, I don't know anything other than just additional work.
So if you see something that comes across, please raise the alarm so we can, make sure that we're trying to break even as much as possible, if that is possible for sure. We're trying to break even. Spend our budget wisely, but and do a lot of things that we're supposed to do here as a district, take care of our community, but so we can, if possible, keep a tax in there.
sorry, Denise said something, I think, that made a lot of sense. We have a lot of catching up to do, and, but I think when we get to our budget, we just stop. The road, when you get to the money, that's it for this year until we get a new budget. That's the only way we're gonna stay close to where we need to be, because we have, it's, there's so much to do, but it's going, that map looks good, it's going well, we've got a lot done. Just something to consider. It was a good suggestion. We just, stay right there.
Yes, sir.
One more thing I forgot. Arminio had asked us to sample the lime rock that you're using for your roads and get it
I
tested.
saw it.
Yes, sir.
And we did do that, and it came back because we put all the DOT requirements for the lime rock base.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
Can we do that every so often? I don't know, like once a year, whatever. I just want to make, because I know the queries, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good. Can we just do that every once in a while?
They can. The one good thing about where we're getting the rock now is the DOT actually monitors that one.
Okay.
That's a place.
Monthly basis, so.
Good.
I think we're okay with that. If we switch sources, I would recommend that we do.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any questions for Mr. Board?
One other thing was I handed out some CD rates here.
Yes, you did.
Had a CD mature at Seacoast, and now we do invested again. If we're gonna deal with the local community banks like we've done before, you can see what Seacoast has available and what Center State has available. First Bank has a lot of public funds already. They're not really wanting to compete for this. So if we keep it local, you've got Center State Bank has a 1.5% 7-month special. Seacoast has 1.4%, both over 9 months and 12. You can buy one, and the Center State is the highest one. It could be divided if you want to keep it a little bit longer, some of it at 1.4. I did check, to see what the nationwide loyalty is through bankrate.com. The highest one out in the national market was like 1.85 for 6 months, and 2% for 1 year. And it's pretty flat, like 2 years is about the same as 1 year because of the market. Again, I'm not too much in locking it in. So I think we should, either put, we still have money in the Seacoast money market account that keep fluid. So 1.5 million is what we put in the CD before. So I think we should either.
What's the term?
These are the shorter term, like 7 months.
7 months at 1.5.
7 months at 1.5. That's a special that Center State's running. Then at 12 months it drops down to 1.1. Seacoast has a 1.4% special, but they said it would be 12 months too.
Board? You wanna go with the 1.5? Or Seacoast? Center State or Seacoast?
And Center State also gave us a bond several years ago.
Who's our bank?
We have a few.
First Bank is where our main money goes in. Seacoast is where we have our,
Yeah, we bid it out last year.
Like our operating. So in
First
other words,
Bank.
in my company, where we deposit money is where the bank that gives us the best deals on our operating account. You know, one, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, so it's a lot of money.
In this particular case, John, First Bank is the bank we process everything through, and it's a very good relationship. Because you have to, post securities and all this for public funds, they have such large balance of public funds now. The last time they only offered like a 0.5%. I talked to Randy Wood, who made the cashier there. It's their choice.
Center State is what we got. Yeah. Center State, the highest one we're gonna get local, and we do business with them, so that's my motion, yes.
So we have Mr. Alvarez has a motion to go with Center State at 1.5 for 7 months. Do you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Attorney, Mr. John?
So we're about an hour and a half in the meeting, and we haven't gotten to our very long agenda. So I'm going to try to be real brief. Most of my items are on the agenda, but if you look at my attorney report, there's two things to bring to the board members' attention, and that is that we have the quarterly disclosure forms that you have to submit. I included in my memo the forms so that you could fill those out, but please stay on top of it.
Yes, sir.
But you said that months ago, didn't you?
I continue to remind you over and over.
Okay,
yes.
then I did it, I'm sure.
Okay. And then the other stuff, the elections, we're gonna talk about that when we get to the agenda. All right?
You ready? So for, it's either discuss the Henry County land use study update. Put it on the, I don't know.
Put it on.
that was, carried on from our last meeting, and it was just to remind, that this coming Saturday, the 29th, we have, the clubhouse is gonna have, Henry County is conducting the meeting.
At the clubhouse?
At the clubhouse, at 10 in the morning,
I thought it was here.
on the 29th.
No.
No,
Okay.
they
That's
moved
why
it to
it
the
was put
clubhouse.
as a reminder, so everybody
okay.
knows.
Can we have, with that being said, can we have refreshments and some like danishes or croissants or something? Seriously,
And fans.
seriously.
This is very hot.
I'll set it up.
Orange juice, coffee,
Yeah, I
something,
have the
please.
coffee.
It's gonna be
Appreciate it.
cold.
There is a sound system.
All
10
right.
o'clock. 10 o'clock.
That was
So we encourage everybody, I think they mailed out everybody a land use study update survey. There was a lot of good information. I've heard a lot of stuff on it, good, bad, indifference. Everybody has an opinion. I think that's great. We live in a democracy, so that's a good thing. So they'll be reaching out to all of us. They'll be showing us, they'll be putting us in teams, I've heard, and trying to walk everything, what they're trying to do. All right, the election 2020 update. John, is that you?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to address a couple of questions that came up in public comment.
Okay.
As we all know what happened last year, we do not want to have a repeat. So we had, just to recap, is 25 to 30 years of accepting mail-in ballots.
Gotcha.
And we are, when you law, what's called the creature of statute. That means we can only do what we have specific authority in the statute to do. And if you recall, I had, my opinion was last year that we did not, this district did not have specific authority to accept mail-in ballots. Subsequent to giving me that opinion, to validate that opinion, I requested an opinion from the state of Florida Attorney General. And the Attorney General issued an opinion, which I circulated at the time it was handed out, and it pretty much validated what I said, which was, it went through the whole process. We are a creature of statute, we don't have specific authority, so that if this board deems this something that they want to have as an option during the election, we must obtain an amendment to the legislation to give us specific authority to allow for the submission of mail-in ballots. I spoke on Thursday to Kathy, Senator Passadomo, and you know the session is more than halfway done. So it's possible, but not probable. If this board voted to try to get an amendment through, it would be difficult given where we are in the legislative session. So at some point in the future, this board, with public input, needs to make really two decisions. One is what to do about it. Mail-in ballots are off the table now, and I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to do about that in the upcoming election. But one is in the future, that would be 2021, is that you want to pursue a legislative amendment to allow for that. That's a board decision. Secondly, for reasons that I don't know, but 15 years ago, the board voted and sought an amendment to its charter to disallow proxy votes. Hearing what Benny said now, I think I understand why. Apparently there was an issue many years ago about proxy votes. 298 districts have specific authority to allow for proxy voting, unless it is disapproved by an individual district. Well, this district, many years ago, disapproved proxy voting, so that's not an option. So, assuming no legislative change, in 2020, we have one seat, I believe it's seat number 3. I went over this, by the way, I went over all of this at the last meeting. I'm repeating a lot of it just because I think it's an important issue. But I believe it's seat 3.
Yes.
Yeah, seat 3. That's going to be addressed at the landowners meeting. That's an election that will be overseen by Central County. So as I said last month, we need to retain a third-party CPA firm. Becky's not here, but we need to begin that process now. We need to start talking to people about getting, selecting a firm to do that, and then talking to that firm about the different procedures. Because remember, the prior firm had done it for how long? Long time. So they were very familiar with the procedure. So we need to get that done, and when you see Becky, begin that process sooner rather than later. Also, in the next month or two, I'm going to bring to you a resolution. I'm going to bring to you 2 resolutions. Because one of the problems last year is people, for decades, thought they could submit mail-in ballots. And they relied on that, rightfully, because they thought that was the rules of the game. And, Jeb Bush, I think it was Jeb Bush sent a team down here because there was some big jaleo at that time over elections. And I pulled those reports. I reviewed the reports. There was nothing in that report that said you have the authority to do mail-in ballots. But the report did talk about mail-in ballots, and it never said you don't have the authority. The people who were overseers weren't lawyers, and I don't think, bothered to check with the lawyers in Tallahassee. So and I even spoke to the prior attorney that was here for 16 years, and Angela Hill, I believe, was her name. This was last year, so. And, she thought it was legit. When I dug in deep, and believe me, I spoke to many lawyers around the state who have expertise in elections law. I spoke to staff attorneys at the Department of State Division of Elections. Again, I don't understand exactly how, but this district operated under an incorrect set of assumptions as it relates to that. Yes, sir.
Mike Stevens was the attorney. I think it was Mike Stevens. Stevens was the last name. First year I got on this board is the one that said that was taken care of. That doesn't mean it was.
Yeah.
But everybody just ran with it after that and assumed it was.
I mean, I can tell you this was a big controversy, and so I literally looked under every rock.
So this all got a fresh start for the 2020 election.
So, talking about fresh start, so I'm going to bring 2 resolutions to this board in the next month or 2.
Okay.
One, because in the past, I think that this place is operated on kind of word of mouth. And this is how we do it. Well, I've written out what I've been able to figure out as to how we do it. And I asked Becky, dig deep in your files and anything that says the word election on it, copy it and send it to me, and she's done it. I'm going to redo the forms and all that. It's been, I guarantee it's been probably 30 years since anybody even looked at the forms, the language, the clarity, all that. So I'm going to, the voting cards, I'm going to redo it all and hopefully make it better and simpler. Because that's the end game here, is so that people can understand and exercise their voting rights. So one of the resolutions is going to lay out the process. We're going to establish the qualifying period for candidates. And our Hendrick County Supervisor of Elections is here today. And I'm very thankful to her. She's been a great resource to me. And one of the things that I'm going to do is mirror. So there's 2 seats. I think it's 1 and 5. And I don't have my notes with me, but I think 3 is handled by us. 1 and 5 will be 2 and 4. I'm sorry. No, so what I said will be handled by the Hendrick County Supervisor of Elections. However, things like the qualifying period, I think we should basically mirror what the Supervisor of Elections is going to do for the qualifying period. So there's no confusion. There's no reason why we should have one qualifying period for the seat that's going to be voted on by electors versus a seat on the same board that will be voted on by electors. So we're going to try to make those match. Our game plan here is to have clarity, and then once we have these resolutions voted on by this board, is then communicate that to our landowners, posting on our website, posting around the site, and I would like to do a mass mailing to the landowners saying, for the 2020 election, here are the rules. And to make it very clear that if they want to vote for seat 3 in the landowners election, they will have to come here in person. Because again, out of fairness, we've got to communicate what the rules are.
Great.
That hasn't been done in the past. I know this board wants to fix that, and that's the plan.
I want to say something. And also, the qualifying of these folks, I've never been happy with the way it works. Because if you look at the election, you look at how many votes are disqualified, it's a big number. There's got to be a better way to do it. It just got to be a better way to do it. A time limit, I don't know. I'm just saying that if you look at the numbers of the votes that are disqualified, right in there, something is wrong. Something's got to be looked at.
So we have what's called I think they call it a comedy of errors. So we had a district manager that had been here a little less than 30 years. That district manager and her assistant ran the elections, and everybody deferred to them, and they did it as I think they thought it was the best way. And then we get a new lawyer, a new manager, and all of that institutional memory went poof. And we followed what we thought had been the rules for 30 years. And digging a little deeper, realized, well, those were not based on, legal assumptions. So
I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying we need to do.
No, I'm just explaining
Okay.
how this
Yeah,
train wreck occurred.
exactly.
It was like a comedy of errors, just a bunch of things happening and new people coming in and institutional memory being lost. It's what happens when we have actually several managers one year after another. So it was just, and all the staff was gone. Both the people who ran it for decades were not here. So anyways, so this time we're going to have everything in writing.
Yes.
We're going to have a resolution saying, here are the rules of the game. We're going to have a resolution establishing the dates, qualifying periods, and all of that. I'm going to coordinate with the county supervisor of elections to make sure those dates match up her dates. I'm going to match my dates to the county supervisor of election dates, so that, again, if you are a resident and voter, it'll be clear how you participate.
So what's your time frame? Maybe like April, May, June-ish to have everything finalized, done, and out to the citizens?
I have a draft
Okay.
of the resolutions that I'm going to give you in the next week, so that you can review it,
Start looking at it?
think about it,
Okay.
and come to the next meeting with questions, comments, edits. So to me, the sooner the better. And Becky, I'll work with you to get the CPA firm on board. We'll start looking at the forms, getting those revised, and again, just the big thing is communicating to everybody what the rules are, because they'll be different.
As long as you know what, I personally would say, let everybody know what the rules are, let's play by them, because everybody was playing by the rules that were there.
Yeah.
So if you change them, everybody knows, it's no big deal. Everybody's got an equal shot.
And
So it's not like it's.
And let's remember, these rules were set decades ago.
Yes.
Decades ago, the majority of landowners were absentee landowners. They did not live here. They lived in Miami and Hialeah and other places. So mail-in ballots, I understand why people gravitated towards mail-in ballots, because it was a very different place 20, 30 years ago. I don't know what the numbers are today. I don't know if there's more absentee landowners or not. It doesn't matter.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
As soon as you tell them they have to come here, they're gonna come.
There is more absentee votes than what it is
Yeah.
in prison, basically.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be here. They're gonna come. If you're not gonna let them vote by mail, they're gonna come in here first. So it ain't.
Let's hope so.
That's gonna change absolutely nothing.
That would be the best.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Thank you. Marcia, you got a question?
Yes, since we're considering, the future, changing certain things to our charter as far as the absentee ballots, what would be the possibility of changing it also where we could allow one person, one vote, instead of one person basically based on the amount of acres that they owned? Because we spoke about this a few months ago regarding the elections, and if you recall, Palmetto, we also asked you regarding, how you have these big companies, these big corporations that own a lot of property out here in Montura. They own a lot of acres, and if you have the voting system that is one vote per acre, it's always, those companies are always going to dictate our elections. So if the community is aware of that also, because if you're looking at the numbers as far as more absentee ballots, or people are, putting in through absentee ballots, and if you're looking at the numbers, it's going to show a higher number because it's the fact that it's one vote per acre. So if you have, let's say the last election, we had the Hill Foundation. She got 55 votes because at that time, she said that she owned 55 acres. So that one vote, you have to have another person, another candidate running to get that many individuals to come out and vote. When all she had to do is just push in her absentee ballot. She doesn't live out here. Obviously, I understand she pays taxes, whatever, she has a right to that. But if we really look at the bigger picture, with the growth that's coming into Montura, with the port that's growing, we're gonna have a lot of investors coming out here. And they're gonna be allowed to vote for our elections as well, when they don't even live out here. So the fact that you have a voting system that allows these you know, the way that allows these votes to be one vote per acre, it's always gonna dictate the majority, they're always gonna have the majority over us.
And
So-
you're making reference to the land, you're talking about the landowner.
Correct, yeah,
So what-
landowners,
Yeah.
correct, landowners. I understand there's only 2 seats right now, it's general, that's something different. It's just solely for the landowner
Yeah.
election.
Once upon a time, it was for all 5 seats. It was one acre, one vote.
There was actually 3 seats back in the day.
It was all of them. It was
No,
all
but
of
it was
them.
all.
It was all when I first came on this board, all 5.
It changes
No, I'm
based on
talking about
urban.
landowners. Back in the day, it was
No,
only
no,
3
what I'm
landowners.
Oh,
saying
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah.
once upon a time, it was all landowner votes.
Yes.
That got changed again. This board, not this
Not
board,
this-
a board,
Yes.
15 years ago or so, made that change. So, the point you raised is a legitimate, to me, policy question. You know, in the future, is it better? I can argue both points, because I could also say, you're right, you know, should this board let a handful of maybe wealthy landowners control the vote? On the other hand, you can have a lot of people who live here, multiple people per household over the age of 18. They don't own anything. They don't pay taxes. And they say, you know what? I don't like these roads that I have to drive on. I don't care if I'm going to vote for the guy who says I'm going to double the taxes and improve the roads.
And the landowners
What's it to
gotta
me?
pay.
No,
So,
but obviously you have to be a landowner at the end of the day. I'm
No.
not saying to be general, to do it the way general. It's
No.
one vote
that's, no,
per
it's not.
landowner.
No, that's not the way it works.
We've been here once
it's-
already.
It's, and we have the supervisor election, but,
You're
and,
talking about the popular vote.
exactly.
It's either popular vote or landowner vote.
There's no in between.
Yeah, there's no.
But for landowners, it's the same way. We couldn't change it just based on the 3 seats that are landowners. Change the voting for
For
it to be.
popular vote,
Right.
which means you don't have
can't-
to own anything, you just have to live here.
She's not wanting it popular vote.
Correct,
She
I'm wanting it
wants
to be
one-
changed.
Oh, you want to go back to the 1 acre, 1
Right,
vote?
right,
Oh, I
right.
misunderstood.
For
But right now it
landowners.
says 1 acre and another vote for anything thereof.
Right,
Right.
And she wants it 1 vote for every lot.
1 vote for every
Every
lot.
lot? That's not
No,
what I
for
understood.
1 vote
For one
per
vote, yeah. So
like, for
landowner.
instance,
basically.
for one landowner.
No, not
Just
based
wanted
on,
to say-
it's not based on
It
how
isn't
many
the same.
acres.
I got
No, it's
5
not.
acres.
Correct. It
No, it's
doesn't
not.
matter how many.
If I got 5 acres, I only get to
One
vote
vote.
for
One vote.
Mr.
One
Mata.
vote.
One time. One
Oh.
vote. That's it. It
So like
doesn't matter how
for
many
But it's
acres.
already
just
bad,
one.
because even when you have it in your spouse's name and your name, you still only, one person gets to cast that vote.
Right.
Not both of you.
And what John is
Still
saying
is
is
that
that
way.
if there are 5 people in the house, but there's only one owner, the 5 people vote.
If we go.
That's what you're saying, if you go to
If
the
you're over the
popular
age of
vote.
18 and registered to vote.
And you register to vote, everybody votes
So,
in the house.
and I live in South Palm Beach County, so there's like 500,000 people there. I live in the Lake Worth Drainage District, and it's still 1 acre, 1 vote. And I don't like it because it's controlled by a few farmers, old farmers. You go to the board, that's a $16 million a year drainage district, the whole board, they're all farmers. And now one person like me that just owns a little house. It's
You know,
not,
it eliminates corruption.
But it's controlled.
Potential for corruption.
It all goes back to it's controlled.
Sure is.
And the people that lives there has no say so because it's only a handful of people that dictates 300. 4 could dictate 300.
Yeah.
That's not right. It's never gonna be right.
And that's a policy call that's up to this board. I mean, it's a legitimate issue for you to discuss.
No, I just wanted to base an opinion also. The amount of acres owned by a corporation is never gonna it's overseeing the amount of people living in a household. We do not have 10 or 11 people living in a household. A family, a father, mother, a family is usually 4 or 5. That's it.
Other than the
Go ahead,
Hill Foundation, how many large landowners do we have these days? I didn't think we really had any other than.
We don't,
Well,
and the
we
Hill
did.
Foundation's getting,
We did have one in particular that was started as a provisional vote that got 22 votes because that was 22 acres or whatever. There was another one that did have that. It started as a provisional vote, and there was a lot of discrepancies with that particular one, and it was an absentee ballot, and there were so many discrepancies with it, and it was pushed through because, according to Becky, you gave the say-so to push it through, even though nothing matched the request from the absentee ballot, and nothing matched whatever you had in your tax roll book. Nothing matched. The addresses didn't match, the names didn't match, nothing matched.
I
And
had
it was still pushed through.
no say in any
And
of
even the
those
CPA,
determinations.
he even said it as well, and he even said, he goes, I would, if I'm depoted, I would be willing to give my testimony on what happened that day.
So we keep going, because I definitely gotta see my family. I've been up since 3 in the morning. Go ahead, you had something to say?
I just want to say real quick, that I think the problem is the process. I don't think it's the landowner vote. The landowner, all this about the big corporation, they're not gonna hurt themselves. And if they don't hurt themselves, they're not gonna hurt us, the little guy. Let me tell you something.
They're gonna hurt us.
I'm the little guy.
That's what they're gonna hurt.
So, the landlord, yeah, well, you gotta let someone else say something. So, everywhere they've changed it, I've talked to people, and they said it's the biggest mistake they ever made. We had all landowners on this board. We went through a big deal quite a few years back and agreed on the split that we have now to try to make it as fair as possible. It can go one way or one the other. This is where it wound up. But you said something that's true. You have in this forum, you have a bunch of people ready. They can make whatever decision they want, and us the landowners. That's why I'm against that any more than what we have. You're the landowner. You're going to have to do whatever they vote, and they don't care. They're going to vote whatever they want to vote, and you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to pay for it. Now they say that the big vote. At the end of the day, Hill Foundation has had 250 votes. They're not going to hurt themselves. And guess what? It's not a special vote for them and a special vote for me. Whatever they do, I get the same thing. So we're on the train right behind them. It's never hurt us. You know, we got all these conspiracy theories, and I'm not even concerned about that. But I will tell you right now, I will never vote for it. So
That's why we're at where we are right now.
Chris, hold
that's
on,
exactly why we are where we are right
Go ahead,
now.
Louis, you have the floor.
I have said this before, I'm going to say it again. It's funny. Why don't we just go try to reinvent the wheel? Why don't we just go by popular vote? If you are a resident of Ventura and you registered to vote in District 10, that's it. You know, you vote on it, and we save money because we don't have to pay, you know, the certified accountant, and we don't have to, you know, have a payroll for that. That's it. Popular vote. If you registered in District 10 and you want to run, you submit your little paperwork to the LaBelle office there, and then that's it. End of problem. We are creating problems and conflicts where we don't need to. The easy way out and the legal way out and the best way out is to turn everything over to popular vote to the election. And whoever wants to run, well, she may not say so, but
She works for us too.
I think the best way to go is have all the seats, popular vote. And if you live, you know, like I say, if you register District 10 and you live 10 people in a house, then you get 10 votes. That's it.
Ms. Sue, you want to speak on that?
As far as why I don't want to go to popular vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, actually, then you disenfranchise, I'm sorry.
Brenda,
For the
introduce
record, I'm
yourself.
Brenda Bootstia, Hendry County Supervisor of Elections.
And she lives out here, correct?
And I live out here. So, I mean, I'm against going all popular vote because you disenfranchise the person that just owns property here. Maybe they don't live here. You have people that live here, own property, they're not citizens. They wouldn't be able to vote in that election. You know, it was pushed a few years back to have a couple of seats, popular vote, and it kept on until they got the way. And the first election, I think we had a total of 45 people vote in the election, if that many. So, I mean, it cost the district money, but there was a push for it. So now I'll take my opportunity because I was asked that you guys were interested in how many voters we have in Montreal.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 1,466. That's a living creature, by the way. It changes every day, not drastically, but that's our numbers. And I have brought you statistics
Thank you so much.
That top sheet is how many people are registered to vote in Montura and the demographics of such. And I have more copies, I just didn't get them separated. But, whoops, let me keep a copy for myself so I know what I'm talking about here. The top one is the number of registered voters by demographics.
Okay.
And then the next sheet, you should have the 2018 general election
Yes.
voter statistics.
Let's see it.
But I did 2016 too, because as you'll see, 2018 is a governor's year. We don't have as large a turnout in a governor's election year
Okay.
as you do a presidential election year. So there was a turnout of a total of 539 in 2018 versus in 2016, we had in Montura alone, 748, and that was out of 1,397 at that time is what we had registered.
Almost 50 in 2016, almost over 50%.
Yeah, 53.5.
That's good.
Yeah, presidential election year, that's what everybody votes on, is the president.
That's good. That's good.
But, trying to think, Denise, we went to ballot when you ran the first time, but we haven't gone to ballot other than that.
And may I ask, because we just talked about it, what's for the seats that you're responsible for, the popular vote, do you accept mail-in ballots?
We do,
And,
statewide.
no, I'm just,
Yeah,
I want that,
I
this
know.
is for public education,
Okay,
that you're operating under the Florida election code.
correct,
Right.
Florida
And
statutes,
so that is allowed.
yes.
I just believe it's gotta be done differently. The way we've done it, if we ever get this done, if we ever go that way, to have it where you can mail in ballots here again, it's gotta be done differently. There's gotta be a way to verify all this stuff, like I
Yeah,
said.
my question would be,
it's-
how are you guys verifying signatures?
I'm not clear, but it doesn't appear to have been a great, I just
Well,
think it's the way it's been
There
done.
was,
I admit it's
there
even
was
a
a
struggle
firm
with
that's
us.
been doing it for
But what
20
are you
years.
comparing it to? We compare your signature whenever candidates can qualify to run by filing, doing petitions, or the vote by mail. There's so many times we're looking at a voter's signature. We're comparing what's been submitted to your voter registration record. It's still a struggle.
It is, and it's always been a
Because
struggle,
we
yes.
know everybody doesn't sign your name exactly the same all the time. But you've got to be able to tell the same hand wrote it.
And how was?
So that's why I question, what were you guys checking your signatures against? Because they didn't come to
I
us.
don't know what word they checking it against.
We didn't check any of that, it was the.
But do they have,
CPA that did it, not
It was the CPA.
but do they, okay, but the records you refer to check on the signature, would they have access to it? No. So then what?
They used to get something from the county before the election, and I wasn't involved in it. A tax roll that said if you, well, it's a good guide. If
Oh,
your
but
taxes
they
were
do
paid-
that. There's a computer and they
So
check it
that's all
against the
available.
tax.
So
That's from the
That's
property
easy.
appraiser's
But you
office.
raised an issue about the validity of the signature.
Right.
So
Well, I
my
just
question
questioned
is,
what
how
were you
could
checking
we,
it against?
I don't know. Is there a way? I can't.
Turn it to popular vote.
There it is.
There you go.
That's it. Oh, wait, can I give this to Brenda real quick? No, I want to give this to Brenda because this is this is how the absentee ballots are now. In your opinion, would you accept this? And
To
the
be honest with you, Chris, actually, they came to us, and I was around when those state advisors came, and basically, this is taken from our materials at that time. Now, things have changed.
But as far as the name, and then this is the owner of the property. As you can see, that's multiple letters, and then this is the mailing. This is what they turned in, and that's what was accepted. That's what we're against. Because even if it was legitimate, this is what they're accepting. That's not right. I mean, anybody can
Chris,
see it.
we don't, some of us don't disagree with you. We don't disagree
That's
with
not
you.
even on
It's
the
not the
table.
process, it's not the voting, it's the process that's flawed. It's gotta be changed.
How did that get pushed through?
I don't know, I wasn't.
No, but we need answers.
I agree. I
need
agree
answers.
with
We don't
you.
get answers.
That's
No
why we're
accountability.
trying
We
to
need
change
answers.
this thing so it is a little bit more transparent.
Because all we get is a runaround about everything and excuses for everything. It doesn't work like that. When is it gonna be accountability?
I haven't given anybody excuses about anything. I'm giving you facts.
I didn't say you did it.
Well, I just want to clear. Whatever we said is what we've done.
We're gonna change it.
Yeah.
Let us, go ahead, Brenda.
Do you guys have any questions for me? Go ahead.
What is the cutoff date for the public that wants to run for these seats?
Okay, for the popular vote seats, number 2 and 4, the petition deadline, if you want to do 25 petitions, is noon, May 11th. Okay?
What do you mean 25?
You need 25.
25, you can qualify for this office by circulating either 25 petitions or paying $25.
Oh, I paid the
You need to raise that price.
It's uniform special district.
May 11th?
That's the petition deadline. Okay, so qualifying week, if you're going to pay the qualifying fee, it begins noon, June the 8th, and it absolutely ends, we'll start making ballots after noon, June the 12th. Okay, so here's where the line gets drawn in the sand. If you do not create anything to hand out, you do not campaign other than vocal, speak, talk, then you can pay the $25 out of your pocket and you don't have to open a campaign account. When you want to do signs, when you want to hand out flyers, you've got to open a campaign account.
That's correct.
Everything goes through the campaign account. Florida has very transparent campaign laws. So anything you do to further your candidacy has to be shown through that account.
Understood.
So these are the dates that we could put on our website.
Yes.
May 11th to bring in 25 petitions.
Yes.
And June 8th if you're gonna pay the $25.
Noon, June 12th is the deadline.
June 12th?
Yes, the 8th is beginning of what we call qualifying week. It goes noon to noon, a Monday to a Friday.
Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate it.
We need you as a special advisor.
Hey, that's what we're there for.
Yes,
I mean, as far as the popular vote, it's seats 2 and 4. You come to us, we go through the packet with you, and we explain all this to you. And
We don't have to go this year, we already did that 4 years ago.
no, you have to do it again.
Again?
Yes, ma'am. Every time your term begins to end, so if you're gonna run again, we'll be looking for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Somebody brought up, vote or discuss on the new policy, new employee policy. I'm not sure what that is.
That's me.
Okay?
The employee policies.
You gave me that?
Yeah. You put a copy there for you. It's just one sheet.
Yeah.
It says it was loose. It should be right on top.
Let me come back to it.
Yes, when I find it.
Okay, I'd like to vote and discuss. This is something that I wrote down and sent down to Becky to put into the meeting. With us growing, with the needs that we have in our community, I'm hoping that the board can look and think about, get your opinion about possibly getting a grant writer to use as needed for funding all the grants that are out there that we probably have not been capturing. I was thinking, see what you guys thought about that.
We used the counties for a long time, but the county once came in here and volunteered their grant writer, and he used, again, it's probably better that we had our own, because he's gonna be looking out for the county first and foremost. But I think there was a cost associated with that.
There's always a cost.
Of course.
There's not nobody doing that for free.
But if he does it by percentage, we're good. If he does it by salary, we're bad.
I think, no, and my idea was, again, because most grant writers, they usually get a percentage of what they bring in to the grant. I'm not talking about, my personal opinion, not bringing somebody full-time on.
Right.
But if there's a grant from the government, EPA, drainage, wetland, whatever, that we try to get somebody on board to attach it. So I want that to come to you guys' opinion. What do you guys think about that?
I would so move to for the option to have someone that would, you know, look out for us and give him or her percentage.
Gotcha.
I would have no problem.
John, is there any, go ahead.
So I actually called around because you had given me a heads up.
Yes, sir.
I spoke to 3 people that were referred to me, the Palm Beach County grant writers. None of them do it on contingency.
Okay.
They said that good luck finding one that does it on contingency.
So how do they work?
Fees, you pay them.
No matter what, right? You pay them so
No
much?
matter what.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different kind of fees. Some did it hourly, some did it by project. But they said if you find those ones, and again, I only called 3 people.
Understood.
But they said these are like these shops that, you know, a guy working out of Atlanta says, sure, you know, he has like a sweatshop kind of operation that, you know, the way they explain it, like, quote, legit grant writers don't do contingency. Some even said there was an ethical issue. I looked it up, and if you Google it, it's very interesting what will come up. And you'll see grant writers objecting to doing things on contingency. So I'm saying it's a great idea. I'm just giving you a heads up. I think you might have a challenge finding.
Understood.
We had one here. I know the county helped us for a while, but we talked to some. Of course, that's been many moons ago, so maybe that's over and done with, but hey, whatever we gotta do.
Do they research which, or do we have to have the grant and give it to them?
That's a great question. So 2 of the 3 said they will do the, and they're different. You know, there are some grant writers that specialize in certain things. Like, I don't know what grants we're talking about, but yeah. And
like right now, there's one for Homeland Security. There's a big one out there for Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, roads, stuff like that.
I gotta believe this community, based on the socioeconomic factor, you would be a great candidate.
We would score high. We would score high.
Really, yeah. I have to claim ignorance on what the state grants and the federal grants are, but there's no question this is worth scratching deeper, that's for sure.
Well, can you keep looking into it, and if anybody on the board knows a few grant writers, maybe look out, see what they have to offer.
Does anybody know, like maybe someone at the county can?
I'm on the city commission now, and I'm on the Florida Planning Council in Fort Myers. They will write a grant for the city or the county, add those fees. They hold the fees until the end. They take that out of the grant once it's approved and appropriated from state or federal.
Yes.
Montura is in Hendry County. Hendry County is part of Southwest Florida Planning Council.
Yes.
So I'll get the number and get it to you.
Appreciate it.
To the director of that department. And they will write the grant, and if nothing comes out of pocket up front, but if it's approved, then they get their portion out. So they're a government agency, so they're not a regular private grant writer for profit.
Right.
So they
We're
work
talking
for
about the
government.
Regional Planning Council.
Yes,
The
sir.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the stuff they go after are like community improvement grants.
Well, they do any of the grants.
Yeah.
They'll go after any of them that you come to them for. They
Great.
particularly go after, the ones they go after are what benefits the planning council. But if one of their investors is what they call us, is if there's a certain grant that they're looking at, they'll go after it for you. And they'll fill out the forms and they'll tell you what they need from you and they'll work with you. So there are people out there that it won't cost anything up front. But
Even the rec center, I mean, even that alone, I think, is a great candidate for grant money. You know?
So can you follow up and get that information and report back to us what you find?
Yeah, and if you could maybe give this gentleman the card so he can give us that information, well, definitely, that's a
I'll
good.
get it before I leave.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
You want to? You want to go? Would you like to speak?
Okay, I'm sorry. Claro, English, puedo hablar español porque...
Sí.
Becky will interpret for you. Becky will interpret for you.
I just moved it out the way because when we're done with the public.
Ok, mi nombre es Joslady Saceta. He venido aquí, solamente llevo un mes aquí. Ok.
Permítame un momentito. Her name is Yoslady, and she's been here a month in Ventura. She is a landowner.
Well,
Ok, thank you. Entonces quería proponer, yo soy instructora de Zumba, llevo 10 años en la profesión y...
Dame un momentito. She's a Zumba instructor, and she's done this for 10 years, and she would like to propose something to the board.
Ok, quiero proponer para Zumba para el adulto mayor, para niños, para toda la comunidad de Montura.
She would like to propose a Zumba class for the whole community, children, adults, and everyone.
Tengo 2 años buscando, 2 años. Y tenía la persona y no quería venir hasta acá.
Oh, pues mira, me tiene aquí. No solamente...
Denise stated that she's been looking for 2 years to get somebody out here for Zumba classes.
For senior citizens and then younger people.
Could they be held at the reservoir classes?
Yeah. At the gate.
No solamente doy Zumba, tengo muchas especialidades como Super Sneaker, que es una especialidad para el adulto mayor, para las personas que están en sillones de rueda, Alzheimer, etc. Y también Strong.
She doesn't just do Zumba, she also does, she works with senior citizens that have difficulties and are disabled. Yeah. They're wheelchair bound, correct?
Aqua Zumba, que es para piscina.
Aquatic Zumba.
Ok, es un completo realmente que tengo. Trabajo actualmente para YouFit y para Canogea en Miami. Y es muy largo el viaje.
She works for YouFit and ¿cuál era la otra compañía?
Canogea y YouFit.
Canogea in Miami right now, but the distance is too far for her. So she was trying to establish something here in Ventura.
¿Preguntarle algo? ¿Puedo preguntarle algo?
Claro.
Entonces, ¿qué sería lo mínimo que usted haría para que usted se quede?
Yeah. So Supervisor Denise asked,
what would be the minimum lessons that she need for her to do it?
There you go.
You mean number of participants?
Or what the minimum she would do because it's her career. She has a job in Miami.
Minimum number of paying.
So at the end of the day, it's what's the money? What's how much?
That's what
Ok, actualmente yo cobro por una clase $50. Pueden venir cualquier tipo de personas porque yo más o menos veo el grupo como es y trato de buscar las canciones adecuadas, okay, para cada persona. Realmente una clase es 1 hora.
Dame un momentito. They were asking what would be the cost of the class and how much she would charge, or was it per person? And she stated that it's per class, it's 1 hour, and she charges $50. And she does it according to the music and who all is involved in the class. So I'm assuming it would be age-wise to make sure that everything is adequate for the people that are going to come and actually do the class.
So if Becky were there, it'd be a reggaeton.
¿Qué sería lo mínimo estudiante por 1 hora?
Ok, pueden ser todos los estudiantes que deseen, pero realmente, por ejemplo, los grupos de YouFit son de 50 a 60 personas. No sé aquí cómo será, si tendré que reajustarme a algún precio o algo, pero realmente puedo dar clases a 1 persona, a 3, a 4, depende. Pero por eso es que me dirijo a ustedes para ver si les interesa, por ejemplo, en el club que tienen de alguna fiesta o como algo rutinario.
Maybe you got a lot of catching up.
She was.
Sorry.
They were, now, son 50 por hora por persona.
No.
O por
the class.
por la clase.
However many
Por la
there is.
clase.
Ok, pero lo que tú estás preguntando es usar el clubhouse para hacer esto como rutina.
Exactamente.
Okay, so that's what she's actually asking the board.
So she's wanting to utilize her clubhouse.
The clubhouse to do the Zumba classes, and she charges $50 per hour. It doesn't matter the quantity of people that come to the class.
And what is our policies on that kind of stuff?
The policies for the clubhouse is always been, as far as I was the manager of the clubhouse, that there's been no profit in the clubhouse unless there is a donation involved. Yes.
I gotta say, why don't we amend that and let her start and see where it goes? Because if not, you're never gonna get, you just said it, no one's gonna come out here, she's
Right.
here.
We have a budget for the clubhouse.
Yes, we do. Yes. And we also have a liability umbrella over the clubhouse.
That's right. So a lot of fighting to get that.
Yes. Even though that I wasn't allowed to use it though.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Remember that.
So
if we, what she is, unless if I'm wrong, if we sign her up, let's say for 2 hours, let's be fair, she needs to make a living, or to start making a living. Okay, so that's $100 a day, and if she comes twice a week, $200 a week.
You guys could give her the opportunity to do just like everybody else does. That will give her a start, and it will give the people the opportunity to come to the clubhouse, like it's always been your dream and mine. The clubhouse charge for the inside the clubhouse $75 for 4 hours.
But we're gonna be paying her.
Yeah,
We're
she's
gonna
going,
be charging ourselves.
yeah, I see where she's going, instead of just pay her for, for 2 hours a week or whatever.
Oh, you're talking
and
about
bring the
if
people
we pay
in.
her?
Yes, we
Oh,
have a
okay,
budget. We have a budget, and
Okay,
you
okay.
should be using some of your budget for recreational things. This is recreational.
What time frame? Sorry, go ahead.
Just take in mind, so she would become basically like a part-time employee for us.
Right.
And because it is the clubhouse, we do have to do the background test.
Contractor employee, not.
Contract, let's say contract.
Contractor employee.
Okay.
Yeah, 1099.
But would she still fall under though, again,
She has to be screened.
Anyone that goes to the clubhouse, and has kids around, should be a background check.
correct. That's all I'm stating. I just want to make sure, so I'm clear.
She will follow under like a summer camp. Because she's gonna
Okay.
work with kids, so
Okay,
she needs
okay.
to be.
Or with adults.
What are the hours?
What hours? Kids, sorry.
¿Qué hora, más o menos?
Realmente para niños en verano y también como después del colegio. Para el adulto mayor puede ser en la mañana preferiblemente y realmente los horarios son en la mañana o en la tarde.
So the hours, the time of hours would be during the summer for the kids. You know, she could have the classes for the kids. For adults, morning or evenings. That just it would all just depend on the group.
Are you like, usted tiene licencia de maestra de baile?
And she is licensed Zumba. And not just Zumba, but Aqua Zumba and.
Tengo todas las licencias y también
Everything is
tengo,
possible.
A considerar. Let's think about it.
y también
They
tengo para si
approve
hay
it, yeah.
urgencia, dar los primeros auxilios, todo eso lo tengo.
She's CPR certified as well.
It would be nice.
It's a great idea. We definitely created something new for our community. You guys want to think about it, or you want to vote on it?
We've been waiting 2 years.
You put a motion?
We should let her know that.
I'll make the motion that we start her off with 2 hours. Isn't that what we said, 2 hours?
You have
Two
to,
classes?
you have to advertise. You don't know the residents of Montour? Come on.
Listen, let's make the
There's no
motion.
longer food distribution, so they don't gather in one place.
First of all, she's gonna have to get clearance, you know, that background investigation and stuff like that. Usted no tiene problema para hacer una investigación en su pasado, que usted no es ni criminal, usted lo mata ahora y nada.
Todo de mis antecedentes penales, todo lo que ustedes sepan.
So I hereby make a motion that we contractor as a contractor employee using a 1099 for all that, and for 2 hours for a week, right?
Let's try it out for 3 weeks.
Let's try it out.
Does that include Aqua Zuma or just Zuma?
Aqua Zuma, Ina Zuma, Ana Zuma, and Over Zuma.
And Montezuma.
And Montezuma.
John, you have any objection to?
You have to recruit.
Okay, so after she goes through the background thing, okay, you can do the background, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Don't do it yet.
So we hire her for 2 hours. For 2 hours a week to start, to see how the community reacts to it. And then we can increase it or decrease it depending on the participation of the community.
Good point. Yes.
All right? So here's a motion.
We got a motion on the floor, on the chair.
Ellos están proponiendo que las 2 horas
All in favor,
le
aye.
contratamos como un contratista con el 1099, el formulario. Tiene que pasar el
Background.
background y
Put something together.
el drug test, tú sabes, lo de la droga.
She can see it, she's cool with it.
Si todo va bien, entonces podemos decirle a la comunidad que tú vas a empezar la clase. 2 horas.
We can work the details out later.
Yeah, later on.
Señorita, el abogado va a hacer unos papeles que se lo va a presentar para que usted sepa lo que está haciendo. Se le va a contratar con un empleado de contrato.
Sí, de 1099, así
De
también.
1099. ¿Entiendes? Nosotros le pagamos a usted y usted se resuelve
Los taxis.
los taxis y las cosas. El abogado le va a hacer los papeles y se los dará a Emilio. Usted se pone en contacto con Emilio para llenar los papeles y la investigación ese background puede venir mañana si usted quiere y empezar a llenar los papeles para que ya ir adelantando. Eso se demora. ¿No?
It only takes 20 minutes with it's a funeral.
La dificultad va a ser traer el público de montura que vaya al clubhouse.
Esa va a ser la parte más
Eso va a
dura.
ser lo más difícil que hay. Pero si usted está disponible para trabajar con 5 estudiantes al principio o con 10 o lo que sea,
Sí.
la cosa es empezar.
Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias por venir.
Que tengan buenas noches.
Igualmente.
All right, Denise, thank you. Denise, we need to go back to your new employee policy. Is that you?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Why is it that I'm always the last one?
You're not the last one. There's still more on here.
Okay. I brought up 3 new, well, not new, one of them is not new.
Okay.
Policies for employees. Okay, the first one, and just listen to it, and if the wording has to be fixed, Mr. Fumero, you tell me. And there is one word.
Where's the word?
Oh, you didn't get one?
Yeah, put one up there for him.
Okay. I've made it very simple. Employees are not allowed to bring children to workplace. Number 2 says relatives of existing employees will not be considered for employment.
I agree.
We had that, but we had, cannot be,
Any.
no, the wording that we have this already, but the wording was cannot be,
It says
new
that,
relative.
it says that, no, it says,
It's specific to who can and cannot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this encompasses everything. And the third one was for the clubhouse. It had to deal with the pastor that came last week. And maybe you said you were gonna work on the word event to help Emilio out because he saw this as a Pandora's box. I put down Central County will allow Montour churches to hold religious events at the poolside. It will be scheduled when pool is not in use and lifeguard will be paid by religious institution. And you said that you were gonna help us out with the word events because he was afraid that the word event was too loose. That it could be interpreted in many ways. And you said, no, I will help you with that word.
I wasn't scared, I am scared. And the reason for that is because they keep putting a difference between a baptismal and an event. And for the clubhouse, it's the same.
So why didn't you say that at the last meeting?
I said it like 10 times.
He did say that.
He did.
10 times.
But the word event you said was better.
And then Mr. Fumero said,
That the word event.
we're gonna work and see how we go over the event word. That's what he
Right.
said.
Yes.
But I said it 10 times. I'm gonna repeat it just one more time. Event is how we rent the clubhouse. We're doing a birthday party. It's an event. We're doing a 15. It's an event. We're doing a killing chicken. It's an event. We're doing a baptismal. It's an event. So event. It's an event.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
So that was my explanation at that moment.
But why don't we just consider a baptism in the pool an event?
That's what I'm saying. It's an event.
Why are we carving out a special exception?
Well, that's up to the board.
Yeah, that was, to me, that was the issue, is are we gonna treat them differently than everybody else in the world?
Right, we're not. That's why it's all an event.
Discrimination if you
That's why I'm saying, for me, it's not, for this board in Central County, it's not a baptismal, it's an event that is gonna take place in the clubhouse.
And you allow events to take place in the clubhouse?
Until last meeting, no. After last meeting, yes, they vote
By the
to.
poolside.
By the poolside.
Side.
Yeah, by the
That was the
poolside.
main.
Yes, before there was no event at the poolside.
Right.
Right.
Put them inside the clubhouse.
And, okay. So, because what you're doing here is saying only religious events can occur. That if I want to have my kids' party, that can't.
No, no.
Because you're saying whether it's a kid's party or a baptism, you treat it the same.
Right.
Exactly, yes.
Right.
What's wrong
This
with
is
that?
specific because I understood at the last meeting that we had that we needed a policy to allow them to come in. Or if we don't, then they go on the event. Is that what you're saying? If we don't
Right.
need-
All that was raised
Okay.
because, I'm gonna explain why. Some years back, it was voted that there is no events by the poolside. Meaning anything. No parties or anything like that. So, the board approved last month to be, okay for an event to occur on the poolside.
When the pool is not in use.
Only for the
When the
church.
pool is not in use.
And when the people there will pay for a lifeguard, and do you need to have some person there just to monitor?
Yes.
It would be a lifeguard
Yes.
or other monitor.
Right, so with that being said, and it's very clear, if somebody comes after 6 p.m. and they want to have a pool party, you also have to allow a pool party after 6 p.m. because that's what you guys are doing.
No. I remember you saying that they must be alone.
What?
That it cannot be anybody else. The public is not allowed. And that's why you told the pastor that he would have to come at the hour, a specific hour when he was there alone.
No, I didn't say that. No. I
What he
didn't
said
say
was-
any of that.
That's why I wrote it.
No.
What he said was, let me see if I can get it right.
Didn't say that.
What I think he said was, in the past, what he's observed is that it's not just one person and a pastor. It's a whole group of people.
Exactly. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Again, remember, you're opening up not to that one guy, you're opening up to
Everybody, right? That's what he was saying.
So he's saying, in the past, it wasn't just two people. It was a group of people. Maybe that pastor does it one-on-one, maybe. But then there's other pastors that maybe it's a group.
Put one at a time in the water. Maybe other people are looking at.
No, but he said
What
that
we're
the
talking
policy
about
was
here is the whole reason why it was probably prohibited once upon a time, because you open,
That's what he was saying.
you open a box.
Right.
Now,
It
everybody's
was-
got the
Then
right.
you got a slippery slope, and where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line?
Where are we at with this?
In liability.
In other words, pool events were not allowed.
Ever allowed.
After last meeting, they are allowed, but keep in mind something, and again, I'm not against anything of that, but it cannot be only for a baptism. That's my.
Yeah, you can't discriminate
You
against
guys-
anybody else. See, Gaeta wants to get, he gets a
Right, so, for example, normally, a wedding, it happens after 6 p.m. That's also when the pool is closed. So if that people from the wedding wants to take the last hour at 9 p.m. and go into the pool, they're allowed to use it. Okay, that's what I meant. And it's okay, but I want you guys to understand that that's what we're doing. Okay, because you don't seem to understand very clear yet.
Well, I'm trying not to get, not to have chaos in by letting him do this. I'm trying not for it to be chaotic.
Trust me, I'm over the clubhouse. I
Had
don't
he
want
said-
any of that happening.
Right,
But-
had he said, why can't we do this at a lake? We have 3 or 4 lakes, don't we?
Right.
Why can't we do this at a lake? I will have no problem with it. The problem is being in that pool. Because of what's gonna come behind him, not him in particular, but what's gonna come. Opening up a Pandora's box.
So I wanna make a motion.
The pool is not open.
Right, he
Can I put a
said,
motion on the floor?
he said,
Paying for the lifeguard.
right, and
Okay,
he said that
okay,
it will be
but-
only him.
Please,
I put a
please,
motion on the floor.
just give me 1 second, Mr.
Okay.
Benny. Please, just listen to me for a second. I understand your point. The pool is not closed in the morning, right? From 8 to 9. Is that what you're saying, right?
Well, I don't know what the operating hours are.
Okay, so the pool is not open after 6 either. So if somebody is doing a 15th birthday, they are also allowed to use the pool and pay for the lifeguard. Okay? Exactly, it's an event. Thank you. So that's what you guys voting on, okay? And it's fine, you can vote on, but that, I want you guys to understand that the specific part.
Are we revisiting it?
No, I just want a policy. If we don't need a policy, then throw it out.
Yeah,
I wanna make the motion that we revisit it. I'd like to revisit it, and my motion is to go back the way it was. You're opening up a
Then
mess.
he's gonna he's gonna tell us that we're discriminating.
No, we're not discriminating.
No, we're not.
You're gonna be discriminating.
Baloney.
Hey,
Then go ahead and
nobody,
hire a lawyer.
nobody.
He said it.
You're
Yeah,
not
that's-
discriminating.
That's baloney.
You're not discriminating because you're not letting anybody do it. Now is when the discrimination is gonna start, when you let the preacher do it, but the other one can't do it.
Yeah.
I say we go back to what we were doing and go just stay straight across the board and let it go. And if he's got to threaten you to that you're gonna be discriminating, come on, man, what are we doing here? Now he's also threatening you. I wasn't here, but you're
I was here.
Okay, well he threatened you.
Yes, he
He
did.
threatened you.
Yes, he
My
did.
motion is that we go back to the way it was. Nobody.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Let's take it. Don't you just say what we're gonna think about?
The motion is, no, my motion is that we go back to the way it was and don't open up this box.
We have another motion on the floor. Do we have a second? All right, there's no second. It has to stay as it is. We'll table it for
No, we'll
next
table
meeting. Table it for next meeting.
Well, it doesn't become a policy.
Right, well, we didn't have a policy, nobody told me to write it, but I thought that since I
Well, keep
always.
in mind too, you have 3 things.
Yes.
2 are employee policies.
Right, and one is the
third
clubhouse.
different, right?
Right, I put clubhouse next to number 3.
Okay, just, I just need to get something clear, just for me and Becky, and for Valerie or anybody in the clubhouse. By you guys tabling the
It
baptism,
still stands what?
Policy stands.
What voted on
Policy
last
stands.
time. What got voted in the last meeting still has to
so
stand.
you can still do a baptism.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It has to
We're gonna
stand.
revisit.
All right, I just wanna
It has to
get
stay.
clear, okay.
That's not been
That's fair.
overturned. It has to stay. Whatever got approved last meeting has to stay.
Okay.
And I want to book a party for 6 o'clock.
All right, so with the first 2, are we good here?
I'm serious.
Are we good with the first 2?
Before y'all change your mind, I want to book a party. Put me on the book for 6 o'clock. Friday
So go
night.
ahead and put, and make sure we get that in the employee
Did you see
handbook
these?
and update it, please.
Yeah, I'm
Do you
booking a
agree
party.
with
for-
1 and 2?
Yes, man. I'm booking a party. I'm gonna be swinging off the rafters
All right,
Friday night
we
at the club.
have 2 more things and a couple more questions.
It's on now.
This next to the last one is something that I thought would be great for our community.
Wait,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
haven't.
Hold on, she hasn't finished yet.
You still have more?
One and two are, you have to vote on one and two.
1 and 2.
All right. You have a motion on the floor?
To amend,
Is there a motion?
you want to amend employee policy to add number 1 and 2 to the policy.
Yeah.
So that's your motion.
I want to amend.
What's your motion?
I added 1 and 2. Is there a motion?
So moved.
That's a motion.
Oh, you made the motion.
Okay. So
I'll second.
There you go.
Have a second, all in favor? Unanimous, pass.
You could put it in our policy.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
No,
wait a minute.
sir.
It's not finished.
No, sir, it's not finished yet.
Friday night.
Get your agenda here, brother.
I'm serious.
So the next one is, next thing on the floor is, this is coming from myself. I'd like the board to consider going forward, if possible, everybody around the lake in the community does some type of festival. You have Bellglade does Black Gold, Clewiston has one, Sugarfest, LaBelle has one, Lakeport has one, Okeechobee has one. I'd like to figure out some way, and all of them started off small somewhere, right? I'd like for us to think about doing a festival here in Montura, not when all these other ones come around, but in that same vicinity, and maybe have to get, community involvement, planning committee, that kind of thing. I just wanted to see what you guys thought about it. As far as funding, there's people we know in the community that we can reach out to help support this, so we don't inquire this cost. I'm just seeing what you guys think about it as a board.
Do we have to use funds from Central County?
Eventually, in the beginning, you probably have to use a little bit, but it just depends how good the planning committee is to get resources and funding, and also, like for instance, bringing in food trucks, attractions, those types of things. And of course, we're talking about utilizing the clubhouse. Of course, we're not, in the beginning, it's not going to be a big country singer or whatever, but something. A rodeo, a field day, whatever you want. I'm just thinking about the board.
Hey, I think it's a good idea. We used to, there were some years at a circuit, what was it, a fair?
We used to have a fair all the
Used to
time,
came- it
the
came and
winter
it-
fair,
I don't remember what happened.
where the carnival, it was the carnival that would come up here. And it stopped.
Media wants to know if this is considered an event.
Listen to me, everyone's invited Friday night to the pool. We're gonna be swinging off the rafters. Start at 7 o'clock.
Invite the Zumba lady.
Set me
You
up.
can do,
There you
aqua
go.
Zumba.
All right, can somebody, if you guys think it's a good thing, can we get a motion so we can start this? Motion on the floor?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passed.
Let's think up something that's, what would attract people to this area?
Well, again, we'll reach out to the community, try to get a planning committee.
See what everybody thinks, yeah, get ideas, let people submit ideas.
Last one on the thing is Clubhouse for the AC. I'm assuming that's yourself. Somebody, Clubhouse?
You guys spoke on it already.
We already,
We
already went.
Louis, do you think?
I motion to.
Make a motion, we stay for another hour.
Just because the air conditioner is working now.
What happened?
You got a motion?
Wait a minute, he's flapping the page over there. What's that?
Oh, that's right, Josh. Go ahead, sorry about you, Josh. Oh, boy.
Josh, you got a minute and a half, so
You did.
I ain't
Go ahead.
You know what, I'm gonna cut it even shorter because it's kind of late.
Forgive me.
Just kind of give you an update on the reservoir, we've got 141 keys, so 14. Remember, it starts at 101.
No, you remember start on 101.
Yeah, it starts at 101.
Last time you told me you got some 200 and something keys.
Just to kind of give all the board an update, we did have an issue with one of the security guards.
Yes, sir.
It was taken care of. The security guard is no longer with us. We have been replaced with another one.
Thank you, Josh. How many keys?
It's 114 keys total.
Out.
As of last Friday. That are out.
Thank you.
And just to kind of give you, also another thing is, if you look on your desk and give everybody a copy.
Yes, sir.
Piece of paper.
Yes, sir.
What this is we're having problems with people that are entering the gate with a flag, taking the flag off and hiding the flag and running off and going wherever they want.
And what's the reason for that, do you think?
The reason, I don't know why, because one, that's how they're identified, what key number they are.
Okay.
We also had, somebody almost got head-on collision.
Okay.
Because they didn't have their flags.
Okay.
What this is harsh up, about a minute left. What this is they'll actually sign this if the board approve it. They sign this as they go through the gate. It's just a reminder of what the rules are with the thing. I got with Becky last week, and she sent a letter to the person that we had a problem with taking the flags down, almost had the head-on collision.
Okay.
We're getting a little bit of resistance about the helmet situation, but it's not as bad. People are falling into it. We're getting more positive than we are negative.
Good.
But this will have to be signed as they come in the gate, if the board approves it.
Okay.
And all it is just, we'll get everybody's signature, so that way this is another strike if they get caught without it, because once it's already in the key package, it's already in the rules, then they keep saying, well, we didn't know nothing about it, knowing Becky's not gonna let nothing get violated.
Make a motion
The motion is?
that we are, that they are able to use this. This
Okay.
is adopted.
Is there a second on the floor?
And before y'all vote on this, what we're asking is for the board to kind of support us. If someone is caught in the ponds or doing something wrong without the flag, that there'll be something done about it then from y'all.
Understood.
You know, we would turn the situation in.
What's the motion?
We have a motion on the floor to adopt the Montour Reservoir and some of the issues that Josh and his team have been experiencing from the committee. People taking their flags off as they pass through. They take their flags down and ride without the flags being on anymore.
What are we gonna do about that? Kick them out?
No, not right now. Everybody has to sign the paper before they go in. That's the second notice, right? The first one's in the first package, the second one's in the other.
This is a good
If
idea,
they're
but
caught-
this is already on the rules and
Exactly, but you know,
So
well,
moved.
we didn't never see it, we don't get it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is gonna be refreshed, every time they go on the gate, they have to sign it. So they know automatically, so if they get caught out there,
It helps.
then
It does help.
the discipline.
It does help.
I mean,
So do we have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Wait a minute.
second.
He's still reading the paper.
If he goes through the gate, and he's got a flag on,
Yes, sir.
he's riding out there, hey, he hit a tree, that means his time is out because his flag,
No, if they notice that the flag's out, then they do need to exit till they get the flag fixed, and then they come back in, it's not a big deal. Anywhere else you go,
You gotta have a flag.
if your flag breaks off, you gotta exit, get your flag back on, and then come back in, that's not an issue. If they can fix their flag right there, then fix it, it's not an issue. That's not the problem, it's not broken flags, it's people deliberately taking flags off, hiding them in the woods, riding around doing mischievous things, and then coming back out and grabbing the flag and going through the gate.
but is the flag have a number in there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
He knows.
why they're doing
That's what we're
it.
saying, they're taking the flags down so we can't identify them.
You voted.
Okay, I got it. So moved.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? All in favor?
And then the third thing is, we got a lot of support outside that's actually gonna do a lot of
Pass.
donations and so forth like that. We're waiting on the attorney to go over the paper before we
Appreciate
can
it.
set a date for the cleanup of the barbecue.
For your information.
Wait a minute, the barbecue's gonna be at the clubhouse at 6 o'clock.
Mr. Chair, on the reservoir,
No, just
I've been receiving complaints of a
Okay.
new security guard,
Which one, the new one?
the new one,
Okay.
Which
that
one?
is sitting there playing with his phone and playing in the Nintendo.
When was this? Cause he's only been there 2 days.
Gotta go,
No,
get another one.
no, he been, last week I got, Monday,
That
I got
gentleman's
two.
already been fired. He's already been fired, he's already been replaced. We've got a new one already.
oh,
Hey,
Yeah, I'm
the
with you on that.
14th, you're gonna have a sheet of stainless steel on Friday
No, I don't
at
know.
7 a.m. I want you on the clubhouse at 7:15.
Are you gonna shut the whole clubhouse
There's a
down just to shut
motion
it
that we adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
you real